Hi y'all, good morning. We got the sun popping up over the trees over there. It is going to be a hot day. We should have done been out on the water 30 minutes ago, but I couldn't get y'all to quit hitting the snooze button this morning to get us out here. But we're gonna make up for it right now. We're gonna take a stretch of this shoreline this morning. All these down trees and everything you see through here, that big stump sticking up over there, we're gonna throw in all of this morning. We're gonna take an ultralight rod and a Gulp minnow and just throw into all this mess, and who knows what we're gonna pull out here. Bluegill, bass, crappie, could be a little bit of anything and a little bit of everything. And if y'all see any skipjack, when y'all looking out the camera here, y'all seeing stuff I ain't seeing, you see skipjack jumping around busting somewhere, holler at me, because we're gonna go after them too. I got my skipjack rods with me. I need some catfish bait, y'all. So if you see them jumping, busting anywhere, they've played a disappearing act on me here lately. I need to find a few. So anyway, I'm gonna put y'all in the chest this morning. We're gonna go fishing for a few hours. I'm just gonna take my ultralight rod here. Like I said, here's the bait I'll show you. That is a 1-inch Gulp minnow in the smelt color. It looks like our shad out here. That's the main forage species. I've got a 1/64 ounce size jig head. It's real small with a number 8 hook, 2-pound test line. This rod, of course, 6 foot long. It's a St. Croix Panfish Series rod. I've had it forever now. And a 1,000 size Daiwa reel. And we're gonna go over here and just start throwing at all of this mess. We may lose some jigs today, but we're gonna catch some fish, and that's what we're after today, folks. We're after some fish, and I'm gonna bring y'all with me, just raw and uncut, unedited. You and I going on a fishing trip today, like we're two old fishing buddies here, which, hell, at this point, I've been on YouTube so long, and some of you have been coming with me so long. Y'all are my old fishing buddies. So we'll set out here, catch some fish, tell some stories. You look close enough up there in them woods, you might see a Bigfoot. You never can tell. And we'll have us some fun this morning until it gets so dang hot we can't stand it, which probably ain't gonna take long today because that sun's already burning through the fog. And then we're gonna get the heck off the water. I'm gonna go deal with Ultralight today. They've been supposed to replace my windshield forever now. Allegedly they're coming today, cable man hours, between 1 and 5. So I gotta be home for that. Well, right here was something jumping right in front of us. Did you see that? Let's just burn that jig right across the surface there for a minute. Something come up and hit right there, didn't it? You seen it. You seen it, you saw it. Too early to be working on my grammar this morning. You need to keep your eyes open for skipjack, people. They're in transition right now, and I've lost them. I got a few there. Oh, something hit me just then. We got fish number 1, boom. Just a few minutes into this video here, folks. I'm on Melton Hill Reservoir today, here in East Tennessee. Fishing close to the house today, just because I got to go home to get the windshield replaced. They come to your house to do these windshield replacements, but you still obviously got to be there for them to do it. This bluegill's never had a windshield replaced in his life. He can't drive. He keeps hoping to get his learner's permit someday, but his mama's afraid to get in the car with him, so she won't teach him how to drive. He's probably got an old Pinto down there. I guarantee you there's a car sunk somewhere in this reservoir, and they've probably all took turns getting behind the steering wheel. I bet you there's something splashing behind me right now. That's probably carp. I almost guarantee wherever that old car's at out here, there's probably a catfish sleeping in the dang driver's seat right now. Probably curled up in there. Yeah, anyway, I gotta deal with the windshield, people. I mentioned that in another video before. I got a rock hit me and put just a little small place in the windshield. And I was gonna get some of that filler stuff and fill it in. But before I got to the store to do it, I had a big crack go all the way across my dang windshield. And so now of course, you got to replace the whole thing, which is just one big racket. Insurance deductible's $500. It costs $400 and something to get your windshield replaced. So, you know, they know how to set the price. And I've been waiting on them forever to come out. So today's allegedly the day. It's a bright, sunny day. They ain't got no excuses not to be able to do it. So we're gonna catch some fish this morning. We're gonna have us some fun. If we catch any skipjack, I'm gonna put them in the cooler. If we get anything keepable that's not a bluegill, we'll keep us some live baits. I brought my live bait bucket as well. I don't really want to keep any bluegill for live bait today, but if we got crappie, yellow bass, drum, here's one. If we stumbled into any white bass that were, say, between 8 and 10 inches long, you seen any white bass down there that fit that size description, bluegill? He ain't seen nothing. He ain't telling me nothing, buddy. He knows what happens to rats down there. Rats get eaten in this river, buddy. Big bass come up and eat them. That's allegedly true, by the way. I've never seen a muskrat. Have any of y'all out there ever seen a muskrat before? I never have. Well, my friend there, Pro Moderator, y'all longtime viewers have seen him on some of my old live streams and some of my bass fishing videos. All he cares about is bass fishing, of course. He's one of them people. But one of the lures he throws all the time is a big rat lure, a big spro rat, if something was hitting me over there. But I mean, it's a fairly large bass lure. And it's kind of a surface, subsurface bait. You swim it along and it's kind of right on the surface, just under. It makes a wake and it undulates when it swims, and it's got that tail that goes behind it. And Pro Moderator throws that rat all the time. And he's caught a bunch of big fish on it. And he says it's because these bass eat a lot of the muskrats around here. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, muskrat? Apparently there's a huge population of them here in East Tennessee, all along the riverbanks and stuff. I have never in my life seen a muskrat. If I've seen it, I didn't recognize it. It's like one of them snakes you walk up on and you don't know it's there. Like, I've never seen a muskrat out here on the river before. I've seen beavers or otters, whatever the hell it is we got. You know, I've seen stuff like that. Obviously squirrels and chipmunks and whatnot. I've never seen a muskrat. But yeah, you're a rat out here, you apparently get eaten. And that spro rat lure, Pro Moderator throws it, it gets eaten. It don't seem to get eaten for him in the tournaments because he don't do worth a crap in those, but when he ain't in a tournament, he seems to be able to catch them. Oh, diddly doo-doo here. We got a snag here, folks. We might get to try out our new plug knocker here in a second. We're gonna get some of these jigs back today because I got 3 plug knockers in here. I got another pack of them there. I don't say I got another pack. I had bought a few packs back in the winter, and I'm still going through them. These, well, heck far. I done forgot what they're called again. Oh, there it comes, never mind. We'll use it at some point today. I done forgot what it's called though. They're from Trout Magnet. The Loctite. No, Loctite's the glue. I don't know what they're called, but they're a plug knocker. They're a smaller, downsized plug knocker. So when you get your jigs caught on a branch, you can drop that lead weight basically on them. It slides around your line and you can knock it free without losing a jig. I'm currently running a little experimente with those. I got them back in the winter. They come in a 3-pack. And in theory, if you can save yourself some money on jigs, if you can save more money on jigs than the cost of the plug knocker, then it's a good value, right? Well, the first one that I used, I got a few back, and then I lost the plug knocker. My line broke trying to work one free. And I'm like, well, I've lost money here because I didn't save enough jigs to cover the cost of the plug knocker. So anyway, I bought a few packs of them a few months ago, so we're gonna work through those for sure. I put another pack here in the kayak, so we'll use them until we lose them all, and then I'll have to do like a little engineering, nerded out cost analysis to see if it's worthwhile to get more. There'll definitely be a time saver potentially, and that in itself has some value. The less time you spend retying, the more time you could spend casting, so there's value in that. But I'm not sure just saving the cost of your jigs is gonna work out. Let's start one here along the stump sticking up right here. I don't know what all that's about. I don't know how deep that is right there. Apparently pretty deep. I got a fish on it too, by gosh. What is this? It's a bass. A little bass here as y'all look in the sun. Get your shades on. I may need to get mine too. If this fish wants to spin us that way, we may make another cast over there. Oh, he come free. Let's back off that drag a little bit. It's a little large jaw. I got to look at him at least. He wasn't very big. But it don't take a very big fish to get you a bend in this rod. I was saying, no, I don't know what depth we're at right here. We're going to be fishing upper water column today, within 5 to 8 feet deep, about as far as our jig's going to go today. In this time of year, summer months, water's hot, metabolism's high. We're going to get a lot of fish that'll be up, especially first thing this morning. But I don't, my graph, I have a graph that I jimmy rig on this thing if I'm catfishing, but for this style of fishing here, it's not really needed. It would give us depth and water temperature and whatnot, but we're making casts. We're going to be beating the bank today. We're going to be making casts toward these down trees and shoreline and stuff, so what the heck is that graph that's showing us the depth right under us? What's it going to do for us? I mean, knowing your depth, water temperature, sure, here's a fish. I'll let it sink down right there on that base of that stump, and we got a little something pulling here. It'll be something if it was that same bass. Nope, it's the bluegill. But other than just novelty thing, just knowing so you can say you know, like it's bluegill here, if he knew his name, wouldn't really benefit him because he can't talk, he can't introduce himself. But I try not to get bogged down in details of stuff that don't matter. Because if I do, then I start overthinking and overanalyzing everything. And that don't help you catch fish, folks. The thing that's going to help you catch the most fish is getting out on the water, putting some time in. If you're catfishing, you need to be out there soaking baits. If you're doing this ultralight fishing, you need to be making casts. That's what's going to put fish in your boat, kayak, in your hands, whatever. But I sure enjoy doing this, and I was in the mood, been in the mood, and I'm out of catfish bait. So today was pretty much either go ultralight fishing or go carp fishing. And I didn't want to get out and go carp fishing today because I knew it would. Typically when you go carp fishing, it takes you, when you first set up on a spot, it's going to take you a minute to get bit. Usually 30 minutes to an hour, what I find typically takes to get that first bite. And since I only have 3-4 hours that I can fish today, which is my typical trip anyway, but I just, in the event that them windshield people call me and they're gonna be able to come early or something, at least if I go ultralight fishing, we've already got fish here. You know, they shouldn't be calling this early, that's for dang sure. But you know what I mean, like if my short trip, here we go with another one. If my already short trip got cut even shorter, I'm gonna catch fish either way. If I'm out there carp fishing for an hour or so, and then I get the call, well then I've wasted a morning. I ain't caught nothing potentially. Well, it's a good one right here. Well, howdy do, bluegill. I'm having to let that jig sink down to get to yous, but let's just throw one on the board first thing here. Well, I can't find my board. How about that? How's that for being prepared for the video? Here we go. All right. Remembered the board at least. I got the board and my net in case we hook something big. Hey. Calm it down. Now, my board starts at 8 inches right there. He's probably 7.5-ish, I'd say. But that's a nice gill, man. Look at all them colors right there. Bluegill right there, buddy. He's happy to be on this video. I could see it in his face. Bluegill may not be able to talk to me, but I can read their expressions and know that they're happy to be here. Sometimes I've wondered if they like me as much as I like them. They should like me better than a lot of fishermen because I let them go. A lot of people are either going to eat them or they're going to use them for catfish bait. I do keep a few for catfish bait, but I'd much rather y'all tap me on the shoulder at some point and say, hey Justin, there's some skipjack busting over there, let's go get them. If y'all do, if I do get tapped on the shoulder out here though, I'm probably gonna freak out a little bit. It was actually right across the channel from here. There's some, you probably can't see over there with the fog and the sun, but there's some docks over there. And I filmed a video years ago. And this would have been probably 2017, 2018. So, I mean, we're talking 6-7 years ago at this point. It's been a long time. It was one of my first ultralight videos, if memory serves me. But I edit the video, upload it. And of course, when I edit a video, I watch it. Now these unedited, raw and uncut video, I upload them and that's that. But, oh, here's another one. Oh, he just took off a little bit there. What is this I want? Is this a bluegill, do we think? Yeah, I think it is. He just got bigger all of a sudden there. I thought, man, is that something else? That's just a good bluegill right here. This is another one we might throw on the board here. This one might hit 8 inches, folks. Look at that, buddy. Look at the colors on that. Something's splashing over here behind us, bluegill. Oh, hey. Well, why would you, none of these bluegill want to get their measurements taken. Are you embarrassed about it? I mean, you're a nice bluegill. Come here. You act like somebody. I've had enough of this bluegill. No, he's probably 7.5 as well. 7 3/4 maybe. Another good one though. Anyway, so, you know, these raw and uncut, unedited videos, I'm not going back, and I hate watching myself on video. So these unedited videos, what's the point of me even watching them back anyway? Because I'm not editing anything. So anyway, I don't watch them back. But if I'm doing an edited video, obviously I got to go back after I'm done and watch it to make sure I haven't left in something that's not supposed to be in there, right? So anyway, I had filmed a video over here on these docks years ago and caught some fish. I watched it back, done with it. I post the thing on YouTube. I get a comment. Actually, I think I might have got multiple comments about it with timestamps, and people were saying, "Did you hear that ghost? What's that creepy voice?" And I go back and listen to the video. And again, I had watched this video back when I was done editing, but didn't notice anything. But when I went back to that timestamp on there that they had talked about, there's a voice on there. It's a real creepy voice, and it's saying, what did it say? I think it said, "I'm up here." I think it was, but it said like, "I'm up here," something like that. It was like, it was real creepy. Pretty sure that's what it said, "I'm up here." I was like, and it just, when you heard it on the video, you just get goosebumps, you get chills. Because there was nothing there. Like, I'm fishing around that dock, there's nobody there. And you could see on the video, like, there's nobody there. And I totally missed it. The first time that when I watched that video back, like, I didn't notice it. Probably never would, but that person did. I guess they were, apparently these ghosts and stuff, if you're the type that believes in ghosts, I certainly do. I'm terrified by them. Some people are terrified of spiders, snake. I don't like snakes either, but when it comes to like real phobias, things that you're just terrified by, ghosts, number one on the list for me. So, I mean, I got chill bumps, hair standing up, like, it's freaky. But people say sometimes you can hear the frequency of the ghost sounds and voices and stuff. You won't necessarily hear them with your ears, but on the recordings, they can pick up. And apparently that's what happened over there. So there was some spook over there on that dock that wanted my attention. Thankfully, it did not get my attention, because I would have needed a new set of underwear and a new kayak seat when I, you know what, myself. So I pretty much at this point, I stick to, if I'm out here, I stick to this side of the river channel now. I'll go over there occasionally. Like if I'm specifically bass fishing, I've been over there since. But I've got my eyes peeled, buddy. I'm ready to run. It was just creepy, man. But that was, I'm pretty sure it was one of my earlier ultralight videos. It was probably like 20, I think my first ultralight video I ever posted on this channel was 2016, I believe. So this would have probably been 2017. So 7 years ago. Long time. Me and you, we've been doing this crap a long time. It's a testament to this rod, by gosh. I've had it the whole time I've been doing these type of videos. It's, I may not get my money's worth out of them plug knockers, but by gosh, we've got our money's worth out of this rod. I've caught thousands of fish on this rod. I ain't trying to sell you this rod, I'm just saying, I can't remember when I got this thing. It would have been, I know the first video, ultralight video, I'm pretty sure it was 2016. I had this rod then. So clearly I would have got this rod before then, obviously, so it would probably have been 2014, 2015. I remember I got this rod, the ultralight rod I had before this, I was using a Bass Pro Shops. What was their Microlight? We're gonna move on from this stump sitting here. I've lost interest in it with us making casts and not getting bit there on it. I forget what Bass Pro's ultralight rod series was called back then. They may still have it, but Microlight or something like that. But anyway, I had one of those and it was a decent rod. It wasn't this kind of quality, but I mean, it was a decent rod. And one day I rolled it up. I had my car windows down and it was, the tip of it, I guess, was kind of laying through the window opening, and I went to close my window and it got the rod tip and snapped it off. And instead of having the rod repaired, I'm like, I'm just gonna get me a new rod. Get me a good quality ultralight rod. And so it was kind of down, at the time, I wasn't familiar. Here's a fish. Oh, that's another one that feels good. What you got here, fish? What are you? Boy, he's a pulling, man. All these fish today have been pulling hard so far. They're fired up, and I like it. Them being fired up, it's going to get me fired up. First thing, oh, look at that. Look at the thickness on this thing, buddy. Look at how thick that thing is, man. I mean, he's got shoulders on him, folks. And he was hooked right there behind that lip too. He wasn't going nowhere. Bluegill, you could have pulled all day and night. You wouldn't have pulled free from that. I don't know if I'm gonna pull it out your snout there. There we go. We're gonna hit an 8-incher this morning. I can feel it. This one may do it right here, possibly. Yep, here we go, folks. Here we go. That one there, over 8 1/4, almost 8 1/2 inches. But I mean, just look at the dang, look at that, man. Oh, I love it. I got him right over in yonder. We're gonna make some more casts right over in there. Let me back up a smidge. Somehow or another, we blew in on that area while I was pulling on him. But yeah, I was gonna get me a good ultralight rod, and back then I didn't know about the JDM gear. I had been following Randy Goad, which is a Trout Magnet Man, YouTube channel, and he didn't have a YouTube channel back then. He was posting, and I've been a fan of Randy long before his YouTube channel. But he had some social media accounts. He was posting on Facebook his catches regularly, and back in those days, there were still some forums that were fairly active. There was the crappie.com, and then there was another one, Tennessee Fishing, or I can't remember what the Tennessee one was, but anyway, Randy was pretty active in there, and he's the best ultralight fisherman that I've ever encountered. Like, nobody catches more fish on the ultralight than Randy. And he's an expert. Like, he's a real ultralight enthusiast. Like, he buys a lot of the JDM gear and tries out different JDM rods, the polyester lines, the special jig heads and hooks and everything over there from Japan. Like, he's hardcore into it. But back in them days, I wasn't real familiar with the JDM market gear, just from basically what I had read on posts from Randy. And back in those days, it was harder to get that stuff from Japan, to figure out reputable places to buy it and get it through customs and all that. It was a lot more difficult back 10 years ago than what it is today. And so anyway, I had basically settled on either getting this rod or the G Loomis. And I read all the reviews I could find, and of course reviews only get you so far, people. At some point you just gotta put the rod in your hand and see what it feels like and whatnot. And so I ultimately, because I'm cheap, I went with this one because it was half the price of the G Loomis. So I'm like, I'm gonna get me a much better quality rod than what I had had previously, but still save a few bucks. So I went the St. Croix route, and here we are probably 10 years later. Pretty close. I know I was, oh crap. I just set the hook on something there that ain't a fish. I know I was using this in 2016, so it's at least 8 years old for sure. Oh, I see what we're hanging there. There's another tree coming out right here. We might have a chance here to use our fancy plug knocker. This could be the time. The old lock and knock, Loctite. This is going to be the time, folks. Let's see if we can save us a nickel or dime here by getting this jig head back. Slide this thing on the line, twist it around. I apparently didn't twist it around. Oh, I didn't slide it all the way down through there, did I? Okay, here we go. Now we got it. Now we're cooking with Crisco. Just like that, it works like magic, folks. One of y'all keep track of that for me. Fishing Key Largo, he keeps track of all the stats around here. How many casts, fish caught, etc., etc. I bet he'll keep track of how many jigs we save with them Loctites. I'll give you a better look at it here in case you've never seen one before. They sell these things at like homemade ones at tackle shops all over. They're a piece of lead that slides around your line. Now most of the ones at the tackle shops are too heavy for like 2-pound line and stuff. They're just too much. They're more for bass lures and whatnot. But these here, they're a lighter weight, heavy enough for the small jigs, but you put your line through that little slot and then twist the plastic piece, and it slides down and knocks it free. So that one worked exactly like it was supposed to. Saved us a jig and saved us time. We'll use it again out here this morning, I promise you that. You throw around all these trees, it's a matter of time. But you gotta throw around this stuff though. You know, that's, if you're throwing around all this cover, you're gonna get bit. Now, there's gonna be some trees bite you too. Sometimes that jig, as it's falling down through the water column, it'll hit a branch and you'll feel that bump. And you set the hook and, well, right there I felt it. And I just set the hook in a damn branch. By gosh. I knew we was gonna use this plug knocker again. I was hoping it wasn't gonna be second cast. Dadgummit. I suppose this is better than retying though and losing a jig if we can get it back. Maybe we can pop it free without using the plug knocker. This right here is shallow enough, we may be able to do it, or not. All right, get your plug knocker. Let's try it again. These things come in a 3-pack. Now I've put all 3 of them in here. I had one in the kayak and one in my life jacket, and I've lost one in the water when my line broke, and I can't find the other one. So there we go. I ended up putting the whole 3-pack there in the kayak this time. I think we're about to ram this tree right here. Let's get this done. We'll get spun around. I was trying to look and see if I see anything down in the water right here. Them other bluegill we were getting off that stump over there was significantly deeper. So we may want to focus on letting this jig just sink a little bit further this morning. I thought some stuff might be up here, kind of in the shallows, you know, first thing, but well, I'm having a hard time getting around this damn tree right here. I just nailed it again, folks. That's what we're gonna do. See if I can use my measuring board here without breaking this thing. This measuring board's already cracked. There we go. Now we've done it. Now we've got back over here. If I had y'all steering for me, we wouldn't have this issue. I can't get y'all to do a damn thing for me. Won't land a fish for me. Every time I let you cast, you're in a tree, it seems like. Legions will get it together now. Well, we done spooked every fish right here in this area potentially, so we'll move along. Lots more shoreline to cover. We're just gonna take a stretch of it, man. We're gonna just, you can see, oh, there was something busting right down there. Did you see it? May have been out of range for the camera. I don't know what that was. But we want to see some stuff like that. If we start seeing that happening, we're going after them. Whatever they are. At least until we prove it ain't skipjack. I just happen to be looking the right way. Y'all are supposed to keep your eyes out for that kind of thing. I ain't heard not one of you speak up saying you saw something. Yeah, it's gonna be a hot day. This time of year, we get in these summer months, man, my trips are short anyway. I've talked about that a lot. My normal fishing trip's gonna be 4 or 5 hours usually, regardless of whether I'm ultralight fishing, catfishing, carp fishing, whatever. 4 or 5 hours about the max for me, unless I'm in a tournament. But we get these summer months, it gets a little shorter. You know, I get on the water first thing, and when it gets miserable hot, it's time to go. And it don't take long to get miserable hot these days. I pretty much hibernate midday. Get out in the mornings, fish. In the evenings, I can take Daphne the dog somewhere or get some yard chores done. I mowed the yard last night, that's why I'm all kind of nasally today. I wore my dust mask out there. That's one thing about, so for years I had just a regular riding lawnmower, John Deere riding mower. Oh boy, something popped me. And you know, you cut your grass with that thing and dust would fly obviously, but it was more going out beside you and behind you. I got that zero turn last year. And buddy, since getting that thing, it's like the dust. When I get done mowing now, I'm covered in dust. So I've started wearing a dust mask, but that dust mask only blocks so much, you still end up breathing in a lot of it. So every time I get done mowing, I'm always snotty. Some people would say I'm snotty anyway. I am snotty towards certain types of people. I don't really like stupid people all that much. I don't really like jerks. So I can be a little snotty, a little snooty. Not that I necessarily think I'm better than them. I just don't like them. I'm one of them people, I don't necessarily need a lot of human interaction. Some people need it. Some people need that human attention. We all do to an extent. But me being kind of an introvert, I think I need less than most. I need less than the average person. When you do an average of anything, some people's going to bring the average up because they're going to need more. Some people's going to bring the average down because they're going to need less. This fish here, oh man, popped off. Whatever the average is of human interaction, I'm bringing that average down. So if a person's stupid, or they're rude, or they just annoy me in any way, I don't need that interaction. I gotta have some interaction tonight though. Girlfriend's back in town. She went on a road trip with her mother and her sister up to Niagara Falls. Apparently a big tourist destination. I've never been. It's never been one of them places that I've had a great desire to go to. I'm flipping this Gulp upside down, by the way. We're gonna rehook it and see if we can get a few more fish out of it. It's getting a little loose on the jig head there. I've never had any interest in going to Niagara Falls. I enjoy a good waterfall. You go hiking in the Great Smoky Mountains, which I haven't done in forever, but lots of hikes back to waterfalls, and they're all amazing. When I was a kid playing with G.I. Joes, oftentimes you'd be out in the creek and you'd find a little waterfall, and I'd take my G.I. Joes, and there was one G.I. Joe, his name was Tracker. Some of you G.I. Joe enthusiasts out there might remember this one, but he came with a blow-up raft. And man, that was probably one of my favorite G.I. Joes of all time, just because of that raft. Because I could send that thing over the waterfalls in the creek. But yeah, I enjoy a good waterfall. Even from the time I was a kid playing G.I. Joes to now, I enjoy it. But do I have a desire to go all the way to Niagara Falls? No, I don't. But my girlfriend's mom had wanted to go. They tried going a little family trip last year and had to turn around on day one and come back because her mom had a problem with her eye, got an eye infection. So they made it happen this year. But anyway, she's back home. So I'll be hanging out with her tonight whenever they're done fixing my windshield. The last time I had a windshield replaced, it didn't take very long. You know, here's something that gets me too. This is another reason I know they're already trying to rip me off. They ain't even got there yet. I got two problems with Safelite already. They ain't even showed up to my house yet. First off, when you're going through the payment process online to book this appointment, gives you options: windshield only, the recommended service they claim, where they replace your windshield wipers too, and then some kind of fancy premium deal. I opted to just get the windshield only because when you compare the price plans from the windshield only to the recommended plan, where they replace your windshield wiper blades, the only thing that's different about the two plans is they replace your windshield wiper blades. It's $70 more. Like $70 to put some windshield wiper. Look, I'm not mechanically inclined, folks. Like I can do very little mechanical stuff. I can put on some damn windshield wiper blades and it ain't gonna cost me $70. So Safelite can already kiss my ass just based on that. Here's the next problem I got with them already. And I've been waiting for them to come for a while now. This has been over a week. They've sent me, I won't waste your time by pulling out my phone here. I know we're here to fish. But they've sent me at least 6 texts plus emails. Like, you know, this text will be confirming my appointment. This text is reminding me. Then they want me to type in C to confirm. Next, they want to send me a video, what to expect. And it's like, how about you just show up? Just show the hell up and fix the damn windshield. I don't need to watch a video on how you do it. I'm not trying to learn how to do your job. Just show up and fix the damn windshield. Quit texting me all the time. Those are the kind of things annoy me. It's like when you go to the doctor now, all these doctor offices, they've all got some similar thing where they'll send you a reminder, and then they want you to type C for confirm. Well, I confirmed the damn appointment when I set the thing, okay? That pretty much, when I said, yes, I need a follow-up appointment or whatever, and they set the date, and they're like, you're standing there at the counter at the doctor's office, and like, we have June 30th, 9 a.m., does that work for you? When I say yes, that's confirmed. You don't need to text me and then make me respond with the letter C to confirm it. I confirmed it when I was looking eye to eye with you, standing at the damn counter. But nevertheless, they're gonna find a way to text you 2 or 3 times before your damn appointment. And it's all generic stuff. Like, bring a list of updated medications. I don't take no medications. I told you that the first time. You got my medical records on file. But that's how it is in this automated world nowadays, folks. And sadly, it's better to interact with the text bots than it is the actual people that work at these places, because they're all dumb as rocks. At least when you respond to the text bot, oh my gosh, I set the hook in something right there. I thought I had a fish snatch me as I was reeling in, and something snatched me all right. But the damn text bots are easier to interact with than people. At least the text bot, you can get them on the phone. You try calling one of these places, you can't get anybody to pick up. I remember I had a CAT scan earlier this year. Nothing important, just did a CT calcium score there to make sure I ain't got no problems there with the old ticker. You know, I'm just at that age, you got to do some, let's try our plug knocker again. I'm at that age, you know, you got to use a little bit more preventative maintenance stuff with your health. Here we go. Boy, this plug knocker's working out today, by gosh. But, you know, just stay on top of things and whatnot. So, anyway, we were going to schedule me a CT calcium score. Just take a look at the heart, make sure I'm all good and everything, which I was. Everything come back perfect. But getting this CT set up was damn near impossible. So my doctor, well, the nurse, I've never actually seen the doctor, the nurse practitioner there. She fills out the order form, whatever, and the secretary faxes it over. I'm supposed to get a call within a week to schedule this appointment. Well, a week goes by, I ain't got no call. And of course, this ain't something like, it ain't emergent or anything, you know, it's whenever. 2 weeks go by, I still ain't got a call. So I called the office up there. I'm like, well, hey, I still ain't got, these people still ain't called me. What should I do? So they give me their number for me to call and book my own damn appointment. And I called in an afternoon and immediately was put on hold. And after, I don't remember how long I waited, 20-something minutes, I was like, hell with it. I got better crap to do. So I called back the next day, and sure enough, I'm on hold 20-something minutes again. And finally get through to somebody and they ask me all the same questions that's already been answered on that damn form that the doctor's office sent over. And I know it's already been answered because I have a copy of the form. As something hit me. And so, anyway, I finally got that damn thing set up, but it was an ordeal, and I'm like, this is part of the problem with healthcare system in America today. You can't get anything done. Now, my situation, not a big deal because I'm just being preventative. But if I had had an actual medical problem that needed follow-up, needed a test done, you can't get anything done. You can't get anything done in a timely manner. And it's like, when it comes to something like that, scheduling a CT scan, the people, and no disrespect to any of you out there who maybe have that job, if you're somebody who works in scheduling in a hospital or clinic or whatever, no disrespect. But that type of job is one of the lower paying jobs at that facility. You could take a high school kid, after school job type thing, teach them how to operate the phone and scheduling software there on the computer, and you've got you a minimum wage employee type position, right? Like it's these hospitals, these clinics, they're not breaking their budget hiring somebody to answer the damn phone and schedule people, but yet they're going to run on a skeleton crew. And I get it. It's hard to find help in anything. You drive down the street here, there's help wanted signs in front of every business. Nobody wants to work. But even if you got to pay a little bit more, is it not worthwhile? I mean, you schedule one CT, the profits on that is going to pay for the day's salary of that person that's answered the phone. Like, I just don't get why you can't. I don't get it. I don't get it. The business practices that some of these places have, we got minnows jumping all over right here. Which is, I guess, why these companies like Ultralight, which are already on strike 2 with me before they even set foot in my driveway, I guess that's why they're going all automated. It was at least easy to set the appointment online, even though it's taken forever to get an appointment. It was at least easy to do. But again, if I'm manually on their website clicking buttons to set this appointment, when I hit schedule and I pay the $400 and some odd, because you got to pay up front, when I do that, should that not be considered confirming the appointment? I mean, it seems pretty obvious when oh, here we go. Oh, he's got me in something over there, folks. Oh, we got that 2-pound line rubbing on something. Okay, there he come. Must have been part of that tree. Oh, that's another good bluegill right there. This bluegill, he don't understand. He's never confirmed an appointment in his life, but I guarantee you if he ever did, and he paid his money and hit submit on the interweb, this fish he would believe that he had confirmed his appointment, when really it would just be the first step in confirming the appointment. Bluegill world works differently down there, folks. They keep a simple life. They don't have windshields to get busted. I don't think you're gonna measure 8 inches there, bluegill. No, you're a little shy, barely. 7 3/4 maybe. It's a nice one though, buddy. They all got them dark colors right now. Beautiful. Love me some bluegill there, folks. Love it. We're gonna switch our gulp out here in a minute. Let's make 1 or 2 more casts. Before we go up to this next tree up here that's sticking out, let's put a new gulp on there, because we've been throwing this one a while. That's several fish. It's probably, the juice in that gulp is probably out by now. That juice, I think it makes a difference. Berkeley, of course, they'll tell you it does, but I mean, just in my own, just using these gulp and trying other plastic lures of similar profile and size through the years, the common denominator is that juice. And so I do believe it makes a difference. But after you've been throwing one for a while now, how long have we been at this mess? Damn near an hour we've had the same gulp on. Let's go ahead and switch it out. Normally by now, I would have lost the jig and we would have had to have put a new gulp on anyway when I replaced the jig head. But since we're using the plug knocker thing today, and at least thus far anyway, have had good success getting them back, we haven't had a need. Yeah, I'm gonna thread this thing on. I need to bust out my shades is what I need to do. That sun's got all the fog burned off here and it's bright. Okay, there we go. We're back in business. Let me get my shades. Bust out my fancy new sunglasses. I do like these sunglasses. They're very, very overpriced, but they have fit my head well. I think that's the most important thing when you get sunglasses. They got to fit your head. I had some Costa sunglasses that a YouTube viewer had sent me a couple years ago. Great glasses, but they hurt my head. I have a headache after I wore them for an hour or two. So I ended up, I was at Bass Pro Shop recently and they got that little sunglass area there, and I was perusing the options and I saw these and tried them on. I was like, wow, those feel amazing. So I got them. Oakley. I had a pair of fake Oakleys when I was a kid. We had a school trip in the 8th grade where we went to Washington, D.C. And you'd be walking around up there and homeless people would have a little stand set up. I guess they're homeless. They might have just been hustlers. I don't know. But they would set up a little stand on the sidewalk at random and sell watches, sunglasses, perfumes. Here's a fish. All that stuff. Oh, he popped off. And so I had me a pair of fake Oakleys back in the day. I don't know if there's a lot of difference between the real sunglasses and the fake ones. They look the same. I guess it has to do with the lens. I'd be willing to bet, I can't prove this because I'm not in the sunglass industry, obviously. But I'd be willing to bet that the profit margins for a sunglass company are pretty amazing. Like, I mean, if a pair of sunglasses costs $200 to the customer, I bet you 190 of it's profit. I bet you the company's maybe got $10 in costs. Because you think about it, the frames on these sunglasses, even the fancy $200 glasses, they're plastic. So what does that cost? Not much, especially when you're getting them mass produced. So that can't be very much. I mean, you're probably talking a quarter a pair on the frame. So then you're just looking at packaging and the lenses. So I have to believe a $200 pair of glasses, they're probably making 190 bucks. So it's good to be, and I'd wondered that forever, and it dawned on me up there at Bass Pro when I was getting these glasses, because you'd see these stores in the mall back when I go to a mall about once a year. If I need something from the Apple stores when I go to the mall, that's the only reason to do such a thing. But they'll have these stores in the mall that are like just sunglasses. They'll just be fancy sunglass places. And you're like, who the hell is gonna buy sunglasses there at the mall? Like you walk by the store, there's never anybody in there. You're like, how do they stay in business? I mean, granted, there's only one person working the store there, like a little high schooler, probably making minimum wage. But like, if nobody ever buys anything there, I imagine the booth rent or the store rent there in a mall is probably very expensive. Nobody ever buys anything. Well, when I was doing this deep diving in the thought process of, because this is the kind of crap I think about, but when I was thinking about the Bass Pro experience up there, and like, man, I bet they make a lot of money on these glasses. Well, if you think about it, when you're making $190 profit per pair of glasses, you don't have to sell a lot of sunglasses over the course of a month to keep a store open. So, oh my gosh, that felt good. Y'all saw me hit that tree right there, man. It felt good. It felt real good, folks, but it was solid all right when I went to pick up on it. We'll see if the plug knocker can do it again. We're getting our money's worth out of this thing today, potentially. We may turn a profit on this dang plug knocker this morning here before we leave, as many as times as we used it now. Get that thing on there. Well, crap. Okay, here we go. Oh. Oh. Oh, we got it back, by gosh. I didn't think we was getting that one. I had to hit it like 3 times. Okay. Another one salvaged. I need to see if I got an Amazon link or something for them things. They probably ain't one. I bet I might sell a few of them things. I like trout magnet stuff. I use their crappie magnets there for the skipjack, but I've got them crappie I know I had them linked on my channel, but it's frustrating when you link something and it's obvious that it's more expensive on Amazon than what it is on their website. And it's like, why don't you just let me link it to your website itself? That way people in the audience that sees me using a product and has a good experience can get a better price. But Trout Magnet won't do that. I even talked to them at a trade show last year, year before, about doing like an affiliate type thing where I could send people to their site. And they gave me a code and set up my email, and I thought that's what it was for, but I guess we had a miscommunication because all they did was give me it was like a thing for me. Like if I log into their website and use my email, I get a discount for me, but it don't allow me to link anything for like other people. So like if I link, for instance, let's say we find some skipjack out here and I show you my skipjack rigs, the crappie magnets, and y'all click down the video description and click on them crappie magnets, well, if you buy them off the Amazon, you're gonna pay more than what you would pay if you went to the store and got them, or if you went to Trout Magnet or Crappie Magnet website and got them. And it's like, and I get they have to, here's a fish. Oh, popped it free. There's a log comes out right here. Let's back off this a little bit and make some more cast to it. We got hit right then. That was an actual fish, unlike the last 2 or 3 things that we've been snagged in that wasn't a fish's mouth. But these companies that sell stuff on Amazon, they get fleeced on the commissions. I mean, Amazon takes like 30% right off the top. So that's why you'll oftentimes see those companies raise their prices. It'll be more expensive on Amazon than somewhere else. They want the exposure that Amazon can give them because it is the biggest online retailer, but Amazon makes you pay a premium for that exposure, 30%. So they raise their prices to compensate for it, and you, the customer, or me, the customer, oftentimes, well, it ain't me, the customer, because I shop around and get the best price possible. If it's more expensive on Amazon, I order somewhere else. I don't play their games. But you know what I mean, though? Like it's the customers that suffer. And it's 2024. I mean, just make an affiliate program and have people that like using your gear, give them a way to send people to your site, give their customer, their audience a discount code. You know, that's the thing. It's like if you're paying Amazon 30% right off the top, then they have potential there to give me a discount code for myself, give me a discount code for you, and give me an affiliate commission for anybody who maybe purchases through that link. And they still come out turning more of a profit. Good God, I'm snagged again. But they still come out turning more of a profit than what they would by selling just on Amazon there with the 30%. So it don't make sense why they wouldn't do it. If they're willing to eat that cost on Amazon, well, eat 20% through an affiliate deal and give your customers a better experience. But what the hell do I know, folks? I don't know a damn thing. I'm just a lowly old YouTuber that gets snagged on every other cast, apparently. At least we got a way right now, though, to, at least for the time being, get this thing to be able to get it back. Let's send that one down. Got it back again. Well, it's working, by gosh. We've saved a few. And it's frustrating when you get snagged that much, but it's just part of the game, folks. I've had days in the past where you get snagged, you break off, you retie, very next cast, boom, snagged again. break off, retie, next cast, boom. I mean, it's just sometimes you get unlucky like that. Makes it frustrating when it happens, but there's enough times where you ain't getting snagged and you're catching a bunch of fish that it makes it all worthwhile. The fish that we've caught today, albeit few so far, they have been fun, man. These bluegill have been fired up today. I'm gonna let this one sink down a little more, I think. I see the edges of the, you may not be able to see, I got these fancy polarized glasses, you know. That tree comes out right there a good ways. I'm gonna try to let this thing sink off the edge of it. No such luck. I thought about running back in this creek over here on the other side of the channel and just seeing what was going on back there this morning. See if there was any skipjack or white bass in there. And I'd got out here about 30 minutes later than what I would have ideally liked. You saw the sun there when I turned the camera on. It was already up over the trees. A lot of the fog had been burned off, so I thought if we're going to ultralight fish today, we better get to it right away. Something about these summer months when that sun gets over the trees and starts hitting the water, a lot of your skipjack or your white bass bite just seems to kind of die off. I think they move a little deeper. And I got to find me some skipjack, folks. Like, I've been struggling lately. They're in transition right now, and I can't figure out exactly where they've moved to. They've either, the place I've normally been getting, historically been getting them at right now, is not producing at all. And I don't know if it's because they got there early and I missed it, or if it's they're running behind and they ain't got there yet. So I've wasted a fair amount of time the last couple weeks going there to check it out. And it's one of them places, like, it's once you go, you're committed once you go. Like, it's time consuming to be able to do it. So it's a, oh, fish. So hopefully it's gonna pay off at some point, or I'm gonna stumble into them somewhere. Well, I can spit something up. He lost his breakfast. This is one of these kids right here that puked on the school bus. What do you think about that, fish? What's it like? I never puked on the school bus. A lot of these people watching probably didn't even ride the school bus. They were probably car riders, wasn't they, fish? They don't even know what I'm talking about right now. Boy, he's hooked good. There we go. You ain't going on the board, fish, but you got some pretty colors. The green and purple there. Yeah, them old kids on the school bus, man. Never failed. Somebody was gonna puke. At some point throughout the school year, you was gonna have puke on the school bus. When I was riding a school bus as a kid, I got the short end of the straw, man. I got a raw deal, because the way the bus route ran, I was the first person to get on in the mornings and the last person to get off the bus in the afternoons. So I had like an hour bus ride each day. I mean, it was terrible. And so when somebody would puke on the school bus, for those of you that never had to ride the school bus, you don't know how fortunate you were to be a car rider in a school. But what they would do, the bus driver would pull over and they would bust out this sawdust stuff. First off, the puke, because there's like no there's nothing under the seats to stop it. So like if some kid pukes and it's real liquidy, if liquidy's a word, and you're going up a hill or something, it's all running down under the seats. So it's everywhere. But then the bus driver would pull over and they would pour this stuff on it, and it stunk, man. It would always, the smell of the stuff they put on the puke would always make you want to puke. But I never did puke on the school bus. But then I would be stuck there for the rest of the time because, again, I was the first person on in the mornings and the last person off in the afternoons. Like, I got the raw end of the deal, man, just where I lived and the bus route and all. Yeah, I never puked on the school bus, never one time. And I always look down on people. You know how I just talked a little while ago about how I don't like stupid people and I don't like rude-ass people? I also don't like people that puked on a school bus. That's another group of people that I don't like. If you ever puked on a school bus, I probably don't, and I know you can't help it. I know you can't. But just because of the memories I have of being on the school bus and kids puking, I don't like people who did. Another thing I never had happen to me, but was commonplace, was lice. I never got lice. But there was always people on a school bus that had it. And they would take us back there in school and I guess it was a school nurse, hell, I don't know. But they'd take you back there and run a comb through your hair and check you for lice, and it never failed. Some of the kids would be sent home because they had the cooties. I always look down on those people too. Again, they can't help it. They can't help it that they're just nasty human beings. But, yeah. You rode the school bus, you're just gonna have to deal with puke. You're gonna have to deal with lice. Which ironically, the puke bothered me really bad on the school bus. Not like, it didn't bother me to the point of like seeing puke makes me want to puke or anything. But it just pissed me off more than anything, just having to. Because it never failed. They get on the bus, they're gonna puke right away, and then I'm on there for an hour because of the bus route. So that always just, it made me mad. But it didn't like make me want to puke or anything myself. But as I got older, obviously went into nursing there, worked as a nurse forever. Puke never bothered me as a nurse. All nurses have something that bothers them. Puke never bothered me though. Now if you doo-dooed on me, that, whew, you know, working as a nurse, especially ER, you deal with a lot of psychiatric people. And here's a fish. This fish is going crazy right here. Speaking of psychiatric, smallest fish of the day, he's bouncing around, bouncing off the walls here. But you deal with these psychiatric patients. And sometimes you gotta, if they get out of line or if they're a threat to themselves or others, you gotta restrain them, right? And so you go to restrain somebody and you gotta put hands on them, and sometimes things get a little physical. Most of the time they wanna try to prevent you from restraining them. And oftentimes they'd be digging in their buttholes and stuff and have doo-doo all over their hands and under their fingernails, and then they grab your shirt and shot off like a rocket out of that tree, didn't it? We about put our eye out. That good thing we got our eye protectors on here. But then you get done with it and you look down at your shirt where they've they've pulled on it, whatever, and you'll see brown, and you know, like, that's doo-doo. And if that's going to happen, as a nurse, it always happens at the beginning of your shift too. So inevitably, you got 10, 11 more hours to go when it happens. And then you get some of them patients too that's pissed off at you. And I mean, I've literally had handfuls of crap thrown at me, like handfuls of doo-doo thrown at me, man. I've had urinals, like pee jugs, I've had them thrown at me. Spit on, chairs thrown at me. You name it, I've had it, man. Anybody that's worked in the ER as long as I did, you've experienced it all. But out of all of it, well, I say doo-doo's the worst. If you really want to set me off, like to the point that I'm ready to just kill somebody, spit in my face. That's happened a few times, and I can just, that'll make a person snap. You don't spit in my face, by God. Yeah, but just normal type stuff that happens, doo-doo by far the worst. I don't like getting doo-doo on me. Fish doo-doo, ironically, that happens frequently. It doesn't really bother me. I got bird doo-doo up here on the rod holder. I noticed it yesterday on my catfish trip. I haven't even cleaned it off. It don't bother me. But something about human doo-doo, I don't know. I just can't. It's another good reason I don't have kids, because I'd never make it changing diapers and stuff. Y'all should have seen me in nursing school. Because you know, when you're in nursing school and you're doing clinicals, you're pretty much just you're going to be doing everything that the staff don't want to do. So, you know, anytime you got to clean somebody up, the student's going to do it, of course. And I ain't sitting here trying to say like I'm above it or anything. I'm not. I just, again, you talk to any nurse out there, they've all got something that they just can't stand. You know, I've worked with a lot of nurses, the suction, like when respiratory suctioning somebody, that sound gets them. Doo-doo in my case, you know, everybody's got something. Some people don't like puke. It's just, everybody's different. But when I was in school, I'd do anything I could to get out of it. So I'd find the ugliest girls in class, and I'd flirt. And I went to school twice. You know, I was an LPN first. I worked as an LPN for 5 years, and then I went back to school and became an RN. So I had to go to nursing school twice. Both times, man, I'd buddy up with these fat, ugly girls. I'd flirt. I'd try to make them feel pretty. That way, when I needed to call in a favor, when we were in clinicals and somebody had a blowout and I had to go in there and clean it up, I'd be like, listen, sweetie, I'm just having a bad day. You know, I'm really struggling right now. My stomach's upset. Can you go, is there any way you could help me with this or take care of this for me? And they'd be happy to do it. I know that's awful, but a man's got to do what a man's got to do. It's survival, folks. And you know what? Them fat, ugly girls, like this fat, ugly fish right here, it made their day too, by gosh. Because they clearly didn't have anybody else in their life making them feel pretty, or else it wouldn't have, what I was doing wouldn't have worked on them. So I made their day too, by gosh. I'm making this fish's day by putting him on video. Are you feeling better about yourself today, Bluegill? He said his lip's a little sore, but he's happy to be on here. Let's go back over here. I think we're going to have to let this thing sink down a little bit because of how far these trees coming out into the water here. This depth, I mean, I know we don't have an exact depth because not having a graph on here, but the depth is going to drop off pretty quick. We're not getting a lot of bluegill today, so far anyway. But the ones we are pretty good quality, man. We've only had that, well, we have one over 8 inches so far. But I mean, you get these fish that are 7 to 7.5. Oh, crap, I'm around, y'all cast it over that tree. Look at this, you've cast it over the damn tree. I told you not to do that. But those fish that are between 7 and 8 inches, man, on this tackle, holy cow, it's, I mean, you've seen the bend they've put in the rod. I can have a good time with it. I'd like to have a good time with the skipjack, but I don't think I ain't seen nothing going on. Oh, here we go. Oh, he's in something. Okay, there he come. Nope, he's still in it. He's wrapped us in something here, folks. I'm gonna give him some slack. Are we gonna have to use the plug knocker to get him out of it? How would that work? I guess it wouldn't. If he's wrapped around the, broke him off. That one was an actual fish, and then he got us in something down there. That'd be something, wouldn't it? Drop that plug knocker down and lose it along with the fish. Got me this little pair of scissors recently to cut my line. It's going to be helpful. Stick this line somewhere. Let me put it here in the tank well behind me. I wish people, I try to, when I got to cut my line, let's see if I can see this damn thing. I may have to take these glasses off, put my readers on. I got it, there, first time. It always irritates me when people don't take their fishing line with them. Because I got in some fishing line on an ultralight trip recently around my prop. It was hanging from a tree and I was trying to get unsnagged and got that line wrapped around my prop while I was fooling with it. And I took my prop off, of course, to try to get that fishing line off there, and I'll be damned if I didn't have more fishing line I wasn't even aware of in my prop. It's like, take your line with you, people. I throw mine usually in either under my seat here or in the tank well behind me, and then whenever I get, if the place I'm launching at has a trash can, I'll throw it away there. If not, usually when I stop to get gas somewhere, I'll always just check out my tank well of my kayak and throw away whatever trash is back there whenever I end up at a gas station, which is much as I drive pretty frequently. Even with my amazing gas mileage of my car, it's still got to stop and get gas. I bet you I catch some hell for my nursing school shenanigans of getting them fat, ugly girls to do some of my clinical work for me. I would have never made it as a CNA. I functioned fine as a nurse, but as a CNA, I just couldn't. I'd never be able to clean up doo-doo on the regular. I mean, I've done it a lot. Busy times in the ER, you don't have anybody else. I can get through it if I have to. But if I got any other option to get out of it, I mean, if you and I work together in the ER and somebody's had a blowout, I'm coming to you and be like, look, I'm gonna take your worst patient. What do you have that we can trade tasks on? Anything, anything. I'm gonna take your worst patient, your worst task, and I'm gonna buy you dinner tonight. What's it gonna take here? I'm willing to wheel and deal. I'm willing to negotiate. But fortunately, nursing school both times was full of fat, ugly girls. Oh, that fish, he followed it up right there. But it was full of fat, ugly girls that was more than willing to help a boy out. And all I had to do was just flirt a little bit. And any women out there that's offended right now, I'm gonna just call double standard right away, because you can't tell me these women ain't done the same thing in a lot of situations where they flirt with a man to get a discount or something, or, you know, to get something that they want. Flirt with a police officer to get out of a ticket. It happens, folks. It goes both ways. Any women that are offended by what I've said, they've probably pulled some shenanigan like that too at some point in their life. Here we go, fish. Oh, this one's got me in something too. What are the odds? We've just had 2 fish in a row. He's still on there. Okay, there he comes. That one worked. This one's smarter than the last one. This one worked himself free. You're much smarter than your friend up the street here, bluegill. You ever play with that kid up the street? Nope. He don't hang out with them. This fish here is on a different bus route than the dumb one up there that got wrapped around the branch and wouldn't come free. I saw a news story the other day. This is interesting. About these killer whales that are sinking these boats. And I had saw that story before. These killer whales, they were attacking the rudders on these sailboats and the motors and sinking these boats out there. And the first time I saw that story, it seems like they were trying to blame it on I guess a mom hunting or something, a mother whale teaching their kids to hunt or attack or something. But anyway, the new updated story I saw recently was saying that these whales are just playing. It's a game to them. And I thought, well, that's fascinating, because they say these whales are really smart. They're really smart creatures. And they're apparently, I learned this in this article too, killer whales aren't actually whales. They are a species of dolphin. They're a mammal. Who knew? Yeah, it's fascinating. They're playing with these damn boats and sinking them. The ocean to me is kind of scary, honest. I love going to the ocean. Shark fishing is something I mean, when I think about fishing trips, and I know me having a Catfish YouTube channel, people probably think, well, Justin, when you're daydreaming about fishing trips, you're probably thinking about catfish, right? Well, no, usually not. It's usually shark fishing or something exotic like that, sailfish out in the ocean. But the ocean does kind of intimidate me a little bit, because there's so many things out there that are just way bigger than you. I mean, down there in the Keys, I remember a couple years ago, I was fighting a shark. And when you got a shark hooked up in a kayak, you're just hanging on. You got a shark that weighs more than you and your kayak combined on, like, you're at their mercy. You're just being towed. And I'm fighting this shark, and another one goes under the kayak because the water's so clear down there, you can see everything. And this one goes under the kayak. It's even bigger than the one I got hooked up with and bigger than my kayak. And I mean, it's a butthole puckering moment. Like, wow, you know, it's a sobering moment, really. Like, boy, I'm not in my element here. Like, if one of these creatures just got mad, just having a bad day, and says, I'm gonna wreck that guy, they could do it. You know, you're completely at their mercy. And so some of those places where them big whales, I've never been to a place with like them big, I've never seen a killer whale at all in person. And places with the other types of whales that are huge, like you see, like there's all kinds of viral videos of people out there kayaking around them whales that are coming up and breaching the surface, and they get landed on and stuff. I've never seen that kind of thing, but just being out there in that environment, like, I think I'd be scared. Like, there's part of me, because we've all watched Jaws, right? Movie from, I don't know when Jaws come out. Probably the 70s, but me growing up in the 80s is when I watched it. But everybody's pretty much at this point either seen or heard of the movie Jaws, which is the great white shark that was terrorizing Brody. And man, as a kid, like, I'd be in a swimming pool and be fearful of a damn shark getting me because of Jaws. Like, a cloud would go over and you'd see the shadow on the water, and just, I mean, it would be scary because you'd be thinking about Jaws. And since I've got into shark fishing, there's part of me, like, almost fantasizes about catching a great white shark. And up in the New England area, it's apparently, they think, and I've watched I think it was 60 Minutes, I think, did a piece on this. They were doing like great white research, and they think, they don't know for sure, but they think that area up there is like a breeding ground for the great white sharks, because there's a lot of juvenile great whites up there. And I thought, this would be, I mean, if I was ever going to do it, like, I would like to catch a juvenile. I don't want to hook into one big enough to just swallow me whole. I don't want to be out there in that situation. But if I could hook into a juvenile, get me a little 6-foot-long baby one, how awesome would that be? But just the thought of going out there in a kayak where there are adult great whites swimming around. I mean, I almost get a little anxiety just talking about it and thinking about it, because, I mean, that's like, on one hand, it would be an incredible adrenaline rush, but on the other hand, I ain't trying to die. And I know, statistically speaking, shark attacks, very rare when you look at the overall numbers and stuff, right? I mean, hell, there's people down there in the Keys, they go scuba diving all the time, right? They're swimming with the sharks. Sharks don't bother them. But just the fact that they could. And usually when you hear of a shark attack or you read a story about it or something, usually it's a surfer that gets attacked. And if you think about it, these surfers, they're out there, they're laying on their boards oftentimes, paddling. And I'm not a surfer, I've never surfed before. I've tried the boogie board at the beach, but unsuccessfully. But these surfers, they're out there paddling these surfboards, so they have a large profile in the water, and then they have wetsuits on, which are usually black. Like, I mean, you see these surfers' bodysuits, they're almost always black. And common sense would say, why would you have a slick, rubber-like suit on that makes you look like a seal if you have sharks around that are eating seals? It makes no damn sense. So when they get attacked, they get a leg bitten off or an arm bitten off or something, I'm like, can you kind of bring that on yourself a little bit, you know? I mean, it's one thing to be swimming around out there with them, but it's another thing to dress up like a seal while you do it. I mean, and I ain't laughing at these people that have been attacked by sharks, but I'm just saying, like, oh my God, we're hung again. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to dress up like a seal, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I was a zookeeper and I was taking care of the lions and tigers, I'm not going to go in with some raw meat draped around my neck, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to do that. But I mean, it would be really cool life experience to hook and I wouldn't land it obviously out there in the open ocean, but just to battle a great white shark in the kayak would be an incredible experience. But I think I would be, even if I managed to hook a small one and not a big one, like, I would be terrified the whole time. The whole time I would be reeling in the small one, I would just be mortified that mama shark was going to come up and even if they don't attack you, like, even if you just get bumped, these sharks, they're so powerful. If you've never been shark fishing or hooked a shark before, the strength of these animals are just, it's incredible. They are so strong and so powerful. And just the weight of them, when you get something, God almighty, I'm hung again. I thought it was a fish, but I think I'm just in some twigs or something here. It pulled back a little bit. But we've had some bad luck getting snagged today. We've had as many snags as we had fish. I thought I had all the bad Judy off of me after I found that dead bird and got it out of the kayak. The thing was covered in maggots. I don't know how it got in there. I'm gonna stick with the story that somebody put a hex on me and sacrificed a live animal, but I really don't know how the bird got in there. But this thing, it was in this kayak. It was behind my seat. It was between the cooler and the tank well, and maggots all over it. And I thought once I got that out, the bad karma, bad Judy was off of me, but we come out here today and we keep getting snagged, and I see this thing down here. There it comes. Wasn't sure we was getting that one back. So yeah, I don't know about that one, folks. Like, will I ever go up north and go after great whites? Probably not. Now, I will go back to the Keys and I will do shark fishing there. Those big bull sharks, they're pretty damn intimidating too, and hammerheads, and oh shoot, I about said some cuss words right here. Oh, there it comes. Back to back cast. I'm like, really? Yeah, I hooked that hammerhead down there in the Keys right off the place we were staying, about 100 yards away from the, and it's shallow water back there, man, because all the Keys is pretty shallow. And especially right there behind where we were staying. We were staying in Isla Mirada. on the lower Matacumbe Key. And it's real shallow behind where we were staying there, and of course you could launch a kayak right there from the little beach area that we were at. And gosh, you gotta go out a long ways to hit 15, 20 feet deep. I mean, it's you can see the bottom for a good ways out through there. And by gosh, I hooked that hammerhead 100 yards off the back porch there. He was probably 9, 10 foot long in that range. It took forever to get him subdued. But you go down there, that one place down there, and I still don't know how to pronounce it, Bahia Honda. It's got it's got a bridge that goes between the two islands there, and it's a deep channel that goes under that bridge, and the current there is so strong. And that's allegedly some of the deepest water in that area, and it's supposedly full of hammerhead sharks. Now, I hooked something big there. I only fished there one day last year. And I hooked something big, and he ultimately come off. He straightened my damn hook out. It's crazy. I got the video on my channel. But that area also, just being in the kayak, being out there around those bridges, very intimidating. It's something, just being in that environment that you can't control, being in the environment that we're not top of the food chain. I guess other animals, I don't know if other animals have the ability to reason or not to understand it. But most of our daily lives as human beings, we are in an environment where we're in control. Like, we're the top of the food chain, right? Like, a bird may swoop down and mess with your hair or something if you're a woman with a 80s haircut and the bird's after a bug or something. A deer may walk out in front of your car when you're driving down the road. This fish may latch onto my lure right here and take off. Like, this kind of thing, our interactions with other animals are... Boy, he come flying up out of the water. Did you see that? This is another good one right here. It's a sporadic bite today, but boy, when we're getting them, man. You know, I'm gonna use the pliers on you because you got it just deep down in your mouth enough. I can't get my fingers on it right there. Oh, hey, quit that. Let me have it back. Got it just right there on the edge of the mouth where I can't get my fingers. There we go. There you go, Bluegill, your moment of fame in the light. Well, I was trying to say the normal interactions we have with other animals, unless you're in a place like a mountainous area that maybe has grizzly bears, or you're on a hiking trail or something like that and encounter a bear, but like a normal human being's day-to-day life, any creature, animal that we have an interaction with, we have the advantage over. Like, they're not going to be able to really do anything to us. I mean, it's certainly, if a dog was to attack, a stray dog or something like that, they're going to mess you up. They certainly have the potential to kill you. That happens. But I mean, let's be real. In normal day-to-day lives, we're the dominant. Other than dealing with maybe other humans that are off their meds and off their rocker, like we're the top of the food chain. We're the apex predator. But You hop out in the ocean, you go for a swim, you get in your kayak, you go out there, you're in a small boat out there. You ain't the apex predator anymore. You're not the top of the food chain. You're a guest in an unfamiliar environment. And there's something very, I mean, the whole time I'm out there, I'm excited, but I'm a little anxious too. There's a little anxiety with it, just knowing that things can go terribly wrong. So it's tough to describe, but I think you get what I'm trying to explain. I hope you do, because I don't know that I can explain it any better. If you don't get it, you're out of luck, because I don't know that I can get my words out any better. Even hooked on phonics won't help me talk it out any better than what I've done. I've mentioned hooked on phonics recently. I wonder if they're still in business. That was a big thing when I was a kid. Hooked on phonics worked for me. I mean, it played enough as a kid that I remember it, but I don't know if I just remember it because of the catchy little jingle, or if it was like actually a long-lasting thing. Some of those things from our childhood we remember, and we remember them like they were long-lasting, but yet they really weren't. Like that cartoon Silverhawks. I had some of the action figures too, Silverhawks. But I don't think that cartoon lasted very long. Like, I don't think that show was a very big hit at the time. Oh my gosh, we've done it again. I had some of the action figures of Silverhawks, but it was rare for me to get to watch the cartoon, because when I was a kid, when it was on, it come on at the same time as wrestling. Because wrestling, NWA wrestling, used to come on in the afternoons. And my great-grandma would keep me. She was a huge wrestling fan, so like we watched wrestling. And since it was the same time as Silverhawks, I didn't get to watch Silverhawks. Okay, we got another one back with that dang plug knocker. This wind is about to... Let me back us up here before I push us into these trees. The wind's blowing right now just enough to be a little bit of a nuisance here. What we need is these fish to eat the lure before it drops down into these trees. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to happen. Let me back us up. We're just going to continue our way along. Making the way in the world today takes everything we got. Y'all go ahead and finish that. I'll have that song stuck in your head the rest of the day from that one line. You're welcome. You'll be humming that tune all day long because of me. And I don't even feel bad about it. That's what you get for getting me in all these snags out here today. Y'all have had me in these snags all morning long. I'm gonna have that jingle in your head. You'll be singing that song and saying, hooked on phonics, I'm in the same damn snag. Are you kidding me right now? I threw over there and got in the same damn snag. Oh my gosh, folks. We're definitely getting our money's worth today, because we'd have done lost 10 jigs probably at this point. Need to, ideally, to use this thing properly, be right over the top of it and knock it down. But I'm trying to I'm trying to avoid getting over here because the way the wind's blowing, we're going to end up in these trees if I ain't careful. There we go. Yeah, we've got our money's worth out this thing today. I'd have give up on this video. If I'd had to retie this many times, I'd have done give up on this video today. This wind keeps up, we're gonna give up on this ultralight anyway. We may go, me and you may go for a troll. We may go back in this creek over here and troll these jigs and see if we get something. Sun being up this high, I ain't very confident in it. But we're gonna have a hard time, if the wind keeps increasing, we're gonna have a hard time feeling this jig as it sinks down, especially since we're kind of having to let this thing sink a little bit lower today, it seems like. Seems like the fish that we have gotten have been more out a little bit. Or shit me. Is this 3 casts in a row? We're gonna set a record today. Sometimes if I get on a good bite, I'll do like a fish streak. How many fish in a row you catch? Today it's gonna be how many damn snags in a row we catch. There it comes. Boy, that's 3 in a row, folks. This is tough today, man. I thought we'd come out here and just tear up a bunch of fish today, but it's just, thus far, it's just been kind of a sporadic, one here, one there type thing. And I don't mind it being like that. I just don't like getting snagged all the time. I had a fish hit me then. We're due for a fish, by gosh. 3 snags in a row. I feel like the river owes us one here. Filming this on a weekday, so we've seen a couple boats go by, but we pretty much got this place to ourselves today. And that's how I like it, man. I like being on the water, having it to myself, just me and the fish. Makes for a good morning. Minus the snags, of course, but I love doing this. It's just very rewarding to me to come out and simple setup. I mean, this kayak, to do this style of fishing, you need 0 accessories. Just the kayak's all I need. I could be out here with a paddle in actuality. Pedals make it easier, of course. There was something splashing right there, big. But just the simplicity of it, I find very rewarding. I've talked about that a lot in these videos. Sometimes when I go catfishing, especially if I'm in my other kayak, it's like there's so much stuff between the multiple rods, and of course when you're rigging up a kayak, you got to have your rod holders and a graph and either a motor to spot lock or a anchor to be able to anchor yourself down, and got to carry a bait cooler and all that. And with this style of fishing here, I got a fishing pole in my hand, a pea cup full of Gulp Minnows, and a box of jigs and my life jacket, and I mean, that's it. And well, it's a good thing today we've had our plug knocker, because we've certainly used it, but just the gear, so minimal, but yet it's such a productive way Such a productive way to fish. Now I know today we've only got the blue, well, we hooked that one bass by that stump back there early on in the trip, but didn't land it. But I mean, it's just a productive way to get variety of fish and numbers of fish. I enjoy this. I enjoy it a lot. Well, I think what we're about to do though, I know probably on the camera there, the wind, you can see it's moving the leaves a little bit, but it don't look terribly bad. And the wind's not bad. But if you can see my line right now, how it's got that bow in it, it makes it hard to feel. When you get a bite, it makes it hard to feel it. You got all that slack in there. And what we may end up doing here in a minute is taking off and go trolling back in this creek. We may just make a run back there, take a lap, see if we get anything trolling the jigs, skipjack rigs, whether it's skipjack, white bass, whatever. And then, once we're back there, maybe we can possibly hide from this wind a little bit. Lots of things we could fish in that creek. Here's a fish. Went to pick up, I never felt him hit it, just went to pick up on it and he's there. Another nice bluegill, man. I tell you, when we let it sink down, if we're not in a tree, we're getting some fish here. They're just deeper. This one here's got them long ear flaps on him. He got hooked good too. He got it right up there behind that lip like he wasn't going nowhere. I'm gonna throw you on the board too, fish, if you don't wanna act like somebody. Come here, fish. This is gonna make your family's dream come true. They've always wondered how big you were. This fish here, he wore the husky jeans as a kid. Yeah, he'll graze that 8-inch line there just over it. I knew that was another good one right there, man. I'm just having to let it sink down to him. I'm having to let it get there. And if we don't get snagged, we're getting it, but they're out a little deeper. And it's just a matter of getting it down there to them. Problem with me though, I am very impatient, especially ultralight fishing. I want to get bit, and I want to get bit now, and then my next cast I want to get bit again. So it's hard for me to let that thing sink down and give it time, especially if I've made 4 or 5 casts and not got bit. My patience wears thinner. Oh, we had another one on. I didn't even know it. I went to reel up and didn't even know he was on. I can't feel him hit it right now with the wind. Golly bum, this is another good one. Oh, come here, bluegill. You're another. I don't think you're as big as the other one, but he's another good one, man. Yeah, we're not going to throw him on the board, but another good one. Let's make another cast up there as the wind blows us along. We may not be able to feel him hit it, but if every time we go to pick up there's one like that on, I'll be okay with that. But yeah, I thought we might here in a minute just take off trolling, make a lap, see what we get, and then if we can find a place in that creek to be out of the wind. The way this wind's blowing here, this direction, I think we'll be shielded when we go down that creek. Unless this wind is just kind of, the river bends up here to the right, so it may be blowing that direction and just hitting the land and coming this way, possibly. But either way, that creek's, the way that creek goes back there, I think there's a chance that we're able to find us a place out of the wind to be able to cast. It's definitely picking up though this morning. I didn't think the wind was going to be blowing today. I thought it was just going to be hotter than damn it. One thing about the wind blowing, it does keep it a little cooler a little longer. Cooler is probably less warmer, less hotter. That's probably the better word. Well, I'll make 2 or 3 more casts up here. I got a feeling them bluegill, I don't believe they were alone. Let me fix this gulp back on here. If we get 2 right there, there's probably 20 more. Stick that thing on there. There we go. I figure though, whatever boats are out here is probably going to be in that creek. Seems to be a place they all go to. But you can see how quickly this wind's moving me down the shoreline. It don't take a lot of wind. It don't take a lot of wind when you're ultralight fishing to make it hard to feel your bites, but it also don't take a lot of wind when you're in a kayak this lightweight. It'll really get you moving quick. But we'll improvise, we'll work around it. Yeah, that boat right there, he's going in that creek. He's probably got the same idea that I do. Could get out of the wind a minute. There's another tree or something sticking up right over here. It's going to be out significantly deeper water, but maybe something around it too. There's also another creek right up yonder that's, I imagine that other guy had probably come out of. Could be another option for us too, because it's going to go straight back that way. So it would probably be more shielded from the wind. We may hit it. We'll have less chance of running into people up there at that creek probably. Let's do this. Here's what I want to do. I want to run right up here and make some casts around this deep tree right here sticking up. We'll throw out a line, we'll troll our way over across the channel to that other creek over there. And then we'll bust out the ultralight again and hopefully be shielded from the wind inside that creek. And that'll make it easier to feel stuff. And too, we'll get back there. We'll see what's going on maybe toward the back of that. There may be some of these fish still on the beds potentially. Then the last couple bluegill we got had their tails were kind of, I would assume they're post-spawn at this point, but you may still have some stragglers on a bed or something back there. Their tails are a little beat up than last fish there, but it's probably where they had been on the nest and come off. I don't know if anything will be around this right here or not. This is probably super deep water, but it looks like there's plants or something growing out of that log. Nature finds a way, buddy. Make a better cast than that. I missed that log by 30 feet. I don't know if anything will be that out here around it right now anyway, but we'll find out. Best way to figure out if there's a fish there or not is just drop a bait down there on it. I'm gonna let it sink down. It's a beautiful day though, other than being too damn hot. What we got here? By gosh, it does have something on it. Another bluegill. How about that? Well, I'm glad we stopped here to make a cast or two. Let's just make another one over there. We let it sink down a while, didn't we? We let it sit there and just fall. Yeah, it's a beautiful morning out here. A sunny day, there ain't hardly any clouds, but that wind is keeping it from being too miserable hot. I do want to go up here and fish this creek though, just to see what's going on up there. And it'd be interesting too to see what's going on in the back of it. We may see some beds, but even if there's no fish on it, we may at least see some beds. Just where they had been. I would assume at this point though, most of the bedding activity's over. They may go on there again at the next full moon, but let's do this. The wind is blowing so dang much at this point, y'all. Let's put our ultralight rod behind us. Throw our crappie magnet setups here. We'll troll them as we... Did you see that fish jump up? I think that was a carp or a buffalo. I was looking that way when his head come up. Right place, right time. Throw those off behind us. Yeah, we'll just troll our way over here to that next creek. If y'all want to come along for the ride, if you've come with me this long, you might as well come the rest of the way, man. We'll see what's going on up here. How long we been doing this crap? 2 hours. Wow, golly bum, has it been 2 hours already? It just, it may feel like it's been 2 hours for y'all, but it sure don't feel like it for me. Time flies when you're doing something you like. I remember be a lot of nights I'd be at work and you'd do stuff you obviously didn't want to be there, and doing stuff you don't want to do, and you look at the clock and you're like, man, have I really only been here 6 hours? I still got 6 hours left to go. Because it just, yeah, it would feel like, because you didn't want to be doing it, every hour felt like 3. I'm like, man, is this night ever going to end? Especially if you got doo-doo all over you or something. It always happens too, never fails. If you're gonna get crap on you, if somebody's gonna puke on you, if somebody's gonna throw a urinal full of pee all over you, it's gonna happen early on in the shift. That's just Murphy's Law, man. It's always. I remember one time I was walking down the hall, wrong place, wrong time. One of my coworkers was yelling from the room, she needed help. And I go in there, they had done a moderate sedation on this guy, pop his shoulder back blade, dislocated shoulder, he had fallen. And this guy, what had happened, his story was he had been at the Waffle House and they'd had dinner and he come out and he slipped on the sidewalk, fell, dislocated the shoulder. So they were doing a moderate sedation, just pop his shoulder back in place. It's a very common thing we do in the ER, happens regularly. And this guy coded during the, code is you lose a pulse, you're doing CPR and all that's fancy talk. That's what we say in the ER, coded. But anyway, this guy died during the procedure. And so my coworker, is her patient, and she's yelling for help and whatnot. So I go in there and I hop on him and start chest compressions. And this guy, when you're doing chest compressions and you're using an ambu bag, which is it's the big bag you see people, a lot of you maybe not have medical backgrounds or whatever, but if you're watching a medical TV show or movie or something, you'll see them holding the mask over the person's face and squeezing that bag. You're breathing for them basically, right? And so when you're doing chest compressions and you're using the ambu bag, the stomach tends to fill up with air. And this guy's stomach was packed as full as it could get with some hash browns, smothered, covered, scattered all the way, man. He had apparently had a triple order. And it just, at one point, I don't even know, because I don't even know how I got hit with this, but it just, all these damn partially digested hash browns just hit me. Side of my face, my neck, and I'm like, I'm pissed at the respiratory girl. I'm like, keep that damn mask on, but like, so the rest of and this was early on in the shift, and again, it wasn't my patient. I was just walking down the hall and heard my coworker yelling for help. And now I'm wearing half digested hash browns the rest of the night. And you can, we can go to the OR and get some scrubs and change your clothes and whatnot, but until you get a good shower, when you've been hitting the face and the neck and the hair and all that with bodily fluids or half digested hash browns, like, you're not going to feel clean until you've had a shower and scrubbed. And so when it happens at the beginning of your shift and you still got 10, 11 hours to go, like, it sucks. And of all the fluids I got hit with, I don't ever recall it happening at the end of a shift. It never happened at the end. Always there. Now you're going to get some stuff happen at the end of your shift. There's always something going to happen at the end to prevent you from getting out of work on time. But when it comes to like wearing fluids and stuff, it's always going to happen early on in your evening. I don't even know how I got hit with all them damn hash browns though, man. But it happened. I wore them. He must have been just packed as much as he didn't leave a bite of hash browns on the plate, man. Because when he barfed, it was like projectile, just poof. The life and times, people. The life and times. I don't reckon we're going to pick off nothing going across the channel here. I didn't really expect we would, but it never hurts to have some baits behind you trolling on the way as you go place to place. But this creek up here we're going to looks calm. Like, it looks like there's no wind at all affecting this area. So that'll be a big help for us, just being able to feel our bites and everything. And we'll see if something is in here. I mean, we've picked off a few fish here in the main channel, but they have been very sporadic. There was something splashed right there. But I don't know if y'all saw that with the way I was positioned or not, but we'll see when we get up here. It may be a better bite here in this creek possibly, since the main channel's been sporadic. We'll just start here at the top of it and work our way back. It's not a very long creek. It's And it's pretty straight too. Out here toward the mouth of it, it will have some depth, but we're going to be beating the banks up here anyway, so it's not really going to matter. But as we get to the back of it, it'll really shallow out. That's where I suspect we might can, if there is any bedding activity, we might see it back there. I really ain't seen no skipjack activity though today. They've disappeared on me. Usually this time of year, summer months, I like using white bass. When I've been going out, I've been doing good on skipjack still, so if I had my preference, I'd be throwing skipjack all the time catfishing right now until such a time that the white bass takes over as a better bait. Beggars can't be choosers, though. If you can't get them, you can't get them. So you just gotta throw what you got. I am still getting my catfishing trip there yesterday. I got some nice fish. Got a lot of fish, so it's still going good. All right, well, what do you say, me and you, we switch out this Gulp here, put us a fresh Gulp on before we start throwing over here. I guess it's probably been about, we've only went through, what, 2 Gulps today, so it's been a while since we had switched out. This P-cup, man, huge help on the Gulp. I get asked a fair amount of questions about these Gulp minnows as far as like the juice. Like people ask me, that P-cup there, where do you get the juice at? And best I can figure is people don't realize that maybe these things are sold in jars. They sell them in packs also, and I don't recommend the packs. The packs are not a good value. First off, when you break down the cost on the cost of the pack versus how many Gulp you get in the pack, you pay more per Gulp if you buy them in the packs versus getting them in the jar. But they sell the 1 inch here in a 2-ounce jar. Depending on where you get them at, they're going to be like $5.99, $6.99. But them jars, I don't know how many Gulp are in a jar, 20 to 30 probably. But they come with the jars got juice in it. And so what I do is I can put 2 of those Gulp jars in one of those urine specimen cups. And so that's how I will store them there, is in that urine cup, because them Gulp jars, once you open them, they leak. They make a mess all over everything. But them jars, or the Gulp, I can't get words out, the specimen cups, they've got a lid that's a screw-on lid. I mean, those are for urine specimens, so oh, here's your fish. Went to reel up, and he had it. They're made not to leak, and they're cheap. If you know a nurse, so you can get one of them cups for free. Just tell them bring you one home from work. If you don't know a nurse, you can order them on eBay or Amazon. A few bucks, you can get a 4-pack or 6-pack of them urine cups that'll last you the rest of your life. And put you a couple jars of them Gulp down in there, and it'll store 2 jars, and 2 jars of Gulp, that'll last a long time. But I can't emphasize enough, get the jars versus the packs. The packs, you don't get much juice. You're paying more per Gulp minnow. They're just not a good value. And so if you're ordering definitely if you're ordering somewhere, pay attention to that when you're making your order. Because, you know, like someplace like Amazon, like we were talking there earlier, you see something for, say it's $5.99, and you assume because the price of a Gulp jar is $5.99 at the store, that that's what you're getting. But in reality, it could just be a pack that's overpriced on Amazon. So read the description a little bit and make sure you're getting that 2-ounce jar versus a pack of them. Yeah, if you get that, there's a little baby turtle right there. Little baby turtle. Oh, Donatello and Leonardo Ninja Turtle coming up. Yeah, if you get those jars, you'll have plenty enough juice, and you want those Gulp. They need to be soaking in that stuff. The Gulp is a very soft plastic. It's prone to tear anyway. But you let them dry out and they get they shrink and they get hard as a rock. If you, like for instance, sometimes, and I do this too, I get done fishing and I forget to take it off the hook. And next time I go to bust out my ultralight rod, I've got a dried Gulp minnow on there, and the damn thing's set up like concrete, like it's just hard as a rock. And so them things, they just, if they dry out, they don't perform the same as if they're soaking in that juice fish. Oh, look at this one. This is one of them. Oh, well, you ain't gonna look at that one. That was one of them sunfish, red-breasted sunfish. He had all kinds of cool colors on it. None of which you will see because botched the landing. I think that's what them things are called. Red-breasted sunfish. Pretty sure. They've got like the orange and the light blue. They look like aquarium fish, really. I think they're one of the cooler fish we have out here in public water. I don't catch them too often. Some places seem to have more of them than others, but I don't catch them super often. We had this one hooked right there. Y'all botched it. You let him come off. You should have let me reel that one in. Professional like me would have never lost him. You can see though, this creek right here, it's not very long. And I honestly, this may not even be a creek. It may just be a cove that goes back up in here. But it's shielding, the way the wind's blowing right now, we're shielded from it here, so we can actually feel a bite. So if there is something in here, I feel like we got better odds of being able to do something with it. I love me some ultralight fishing, but I'll be the first to admit it gets difficult to do when you got the wind blowing. It's just one of them things you gotta plan your trips around. And honestly, with me enjoying fishing the morning hours, I'm gonna go around this tree here. These branches come out a long ways. But oftentimes here, when you fish the morning, the wind will be calm. Even if it's a day where it's gonna be windy, like you go out the first thing in the morning, it's flat calm. And then the wind will kick up late morning, midday. So you can get some ultralight fishing done, even on a potentially windy day, if you just plan your trips accordingly. You can also use heavier jig heads that'll certainly help you keep that bow out of your line as it falls down. But when you do that, the jig falls quicker. Personally, I think you get less bites. So unless I'm planning on fishing an area that's where I need to get the bait down 10 feet or more, I use this 1/64 ounce. Something's in that tree up there. Squirrel. Boy, Daphne the dog, she got her that squirrel recently. And she ended up killing it, and I felt bad for the squirrel. But the squirrel's friends have I guess they have declared war on me in revolt. They've been after my bird feeders lately, and I've tried them blocks, them suet sway. You know what I'm talking about, them blocks that go in your bird feeders. I've tried them hot pepper ones, because allegedly the birds can't taste that hot pepper, but the squirrels can, so it's supposed to deter them. Well, by damn, it don't. They're up there just going town on it every day. And so while I initially felt bad for that squirrel when Daphne got it, my empathy's gone. And now I'm wanting her to get the other ones. We got about 2 more that needs to be either run off or Daphne gets them. I think we can have some peace around the bird feeders, but they're gonna, this one squirrel, y'all, and he sits out there and taunts me because he'll set up on top of the bird. He climbs up on my porch and leaps over to the bird feeder and will sit there and just taunt me. Because he can see me, I can see him through my living room window there. And this dang squirrel, man, he must be the stud horse of squirrels, because this thing's balls drag on the ground when he walks. I mean, them things, they're huge. I didn't know, and listen, I ain't out there looking at squirrel balls or anything. I don't know that I'd ever actually seen squirrel balls before I noticed this ones, but they're so big you can't not notice them. I'm like, man, this is the dang, he's populating the whole forest, buddy. I mean, this is old stud horse. It's like that movie Van Wilder. Did you ever see that? Where that dog had them giant cojones and they were making the, oh, it was a sorority or fraternity or something, but they were making them cream pies or whatever, the pastries. And I haven't seen that movie in forever. I remember it's funny though. But I saw that squirrel. It reminded me of that dog in the movie. Damn things are huge. And he'll just sit up there. He'll sit up on top of that feeder and eat and just look at me. Sometimes he'll hang from the bottom of the feeder, get him a handful, and then lower himself back down like he's doing Rocky Balboa crunches hanging from that damn feeder, and he'll sit there and look at me while he eats. And if I go to open the living room door, like he's watching me to know that I'm about to let Daphne out. And I think, here's a fish. I think them squirrels have smartened up enough to know that they need to come to the bird feeder in pairs. Because one-on-one, Daphne's pretty smart, and she's very fast, obviously, as we've seen her race all the electric bikes and destroy them. Not destroy them like tear them up, but just, you know, winning the race, destroying them. Oh, bluegill, I think you may have got this too deep. I don't know if I can get this, buddy. There we go. I think you got lucky, bluegill. You ain't bleeding. That's close. You better not eat a jig that deep again. But Daphne, if she's locked in on one squirrel, that squirrel's in trouble. Like, she's going to get close if she doesn't actually get it. But when they're out there in pairs and they run different directions, that split second that Daphne has to decide which squirrel she's going to go after. That's enough to save them. So I think they've learned that there's safety in numbers. And so they come to the feeder in pairs now. And so that when I open that door and Daphne goes out there like a bolt of lightning, she's actually tore up my, oh, he thumped me. What's amazing when you can actually feel the bite. But she's tore up my hardwood floors with her claws because she just bolts out of there after them dang squirrels. But I need her to get 2 more squirrels, and I think we'd be good, especially that one with the big cojones, because he's making a lot of babies, I guarantee you. Oh, well, speaking of making babies, this one here was peeing when I was trying to get him on the board. I wish you'd quit, bluegill. I just want to throw you on there and see how close you were. Probably 7 3/4, what do you think? A little short of 8 inches. These bluegill have been overall good quality today. Just not getting them ever cast. But when we do, I'm pleased with it. Trying to let this sink down low. I need to be more patient, y'all. I get to talking and I don't really let this thing sink down, and then of course we have as many snags as we've had today. That kind of messes with me a little bit too, because the further you let it sink down, the more likely you are to snag it. Y'all may be hearing my stomach growling too. I'm hungry. I did not have any breakfast today. I had one of them little health food bars from the Aldi. I got a few boxes of those. I gotta go to the store today too. That's another thing I gotta do. I'm gonna leave here, go to the store before I go home, because once I'm in that 1 to 5 p.m. window for the windshield people, I'll be stuck at home. Like the cable man, you don't know when they're gonna show up. But I got some of them health food bars that last time they were at Aldi, and they're cheaper than a candy bar. They don't taste very good, but they're edible. But you buy them health food bars, and they're $2 and something a box. The box got 4 candy bars or health food bars in it. You try buying a candy bar, it costs you $2 for just 1 candy bar these days. So sad times where we're at, but now I'm eating a health food bar because of it. I gotta go there. I'll leave here, I'm gonna go there on the way home and hope they got some steaks left. Gotta get to Aldi early if you want steaks and pick up a few things. And then I'm gonna wait it out there for the Safe Light repair, Safe Light replace. I bet you they've probably already texted me this morning. Let me just glance at my phone here. Well, somebody's been blowing up my messenger, but it ain't them. I bet you they do text 2 or 3 more times though. They're probably gonna text to say they're on the way. Or I'll get a text saying, your tech will be arriving today between 1 and 5 p.m. And then I'll get another text when they're on their way. And then when they leave, I'll probably get another text for a survey of some kind. All these companies, it's like this, anytime I go get my oil changed up there at Honda, they always want to do a survey. The person that takes your money there for the oil change, they want to say, well, we're going to email you this survey and If there's anything I can do to get 5 stars on there, I guess they get some kind of bonus if people do enough surveys. But I'm not going to waste my time filling out a survey. Sorry, but not sorry. If you're not going to offer me anything, if my time means so little to you, and they've usually got some kind of thing on there, right? Like, fill out this survey and you'll have a chance to win $1,000. Yeah, that drawings once every 6 months, once a year with thousands of entries. You ain't winning, okay? You ain't winning it. This helicopter man flies over. We'll pause for helicopter man. 10 seconds for station identification, as they say on the radio programs. But you're not winning when they do them stupid giveaways, like you have 0 chance of winning. Now, I know the odds aren't technically 0, but it's 0. You ain't gonna win. So I'm not wasting my time filling out no damn survey. And who the hell's gonna look at them surveys anyway? Nobody. They don't care. Some suit in an office somewhere, one of these corporate jobs of these companies had the bright idea one time, well, let's make a survey. That was their contribution to justify their existence, to keep their job. And so now there's these useless surveys that nobody fills out and nobody pays attention to. The only people that's going to fill out a survey is people that's pissed off, people that's had bad experience. That's it, unless you incentivize it. Now, YouTube, for instance, sometimes when I go to log in to my studio homepage or whatever, the place on YouTube where you go to upload videos, sometimes I'll log in there and there'll be like a little link and it'll ask me, do you want to participate in such and such survey? And sometimes you'll get an email about it. And there are times when you do those surveys where they'll pay you a little something. Like, you know, it might not be much, but it might be like a $10 gift card or $15 gift card, something like that. But it's something. Like, it's, at least they're saying, at least the company is saying, we know this is going to take you some time to do. We value your time. We would appreciate your honest feedback, and here's what you get in return. A little tit for tat. With these companies that just, they've already fleeced me. You know, I go up there to Honda, have my car serviced. The last time I was in there, I spent $800 and something. Because, yeah, I got an oil changed, but yeah, it's time for everything else too, and transmission fluid and coolant and air filter and, you know, hell, everything else. And the time you do all them services, you're at $800. And then they want me to give them my time also and kiss my ass. I mean, hell with it. Buddy, give me if you want me to, I'll fill out your damn survey. Give me a discount on my next service. Give me a little gift card. Give me something. But make me wait up there all damn day to get my car serviced. Leave me hanging there in the waiting room forever. Stick it to me on the bill, and then you want me to fill out a survey too? Hell no. Can't believe you'd even ask. So I don't fill out them surveys. But I at least tell them up front, the people ringing you up there, taking your money, I at least tell them, no, I'm not going to do that. Most of them are understanding. They may not like it, but I'm at least honest about it. I'm always willing to tell them why I won't do it too. They don't want to hear why, but I'm always, anytime somebody wants to know why I'm unwilling, I'm always happy to tell them. I did get a discount the other day. Last time I went and got a haircut, I always just go to Great Clips. I don't have a barber or a what do you call what do you call a woman that cuts hair? I've dated a couple of them in the past, but what do you call them? Beauticians? Cosmopolitans? Cosmetologists? I don't have a regular one. I just get whoever. I sign up there online check-in, whoever gets me, gets me. But the last time I went, I guess I've gotten so bald, the woman felt bad for me or something. She gave me a discount. Here's a fish. This is gonna pull a little bit now. This fish here, he's heard about my discount. He wants to hear more about it. Well, this is another good one right here. This one's as tall as he is long. Come up here, fish. Like a little saucer there, fish. You might be taller than you are long, for real. He thumped it though. But yeah, I guess I've gotten bald to the point this woman felt bad for me, so instead of charging me for a whole haircut, she charged me for a neck trim, she called it. I didn't know a neck trim existed. I don't know. Maybe some of y'all out there get a neck trim. I've never had a neck trim. But I got charged for one. I thought that was very nice of her. So I gave her a little extra tip. Normally, and I don't know what maybe I'm cheap on this anyway. Maybe I should be tipping more. I don't know what the standard, when you go up there to pay, and I always pay with a card, like I don't pay with cash for anything. But I pay with a card, and it always asks you about a tip. Which honestly, I'm kind of about sick of this whole tip thing. I mean, if I get a service of some kind, like, if I go in there and this woman cuts my hair, I will tip her. She's providing a service. If I go into a restaurant and somebody's bringing my food and bringing drinks and bread and all that, I will give them a tip. But nowadays, they want a tip for everything. I went through the Japanese place down there, the hibachi place recently. I went through the drive-thru. And they run your card and they hand you this little clipboard, make you sign. Here's another one. Oh, he spit it. He about ripped the gulp off too. But they hand you this little clipboard, make you sign while you're sitting there in the drive-thru waiting, which is super obnoxious. They just run the card and let's go, like any other drive-thru. But they do that because when you get that receipt that you're signing, they want you to put a tip on there. And I'm like, I'm in the damn drive-thru. I'm not tipping you while I'm in the drive-thru. Like you're putting food in a box and sticking it in a bag. You're not doing any kind of service for me. I'm providing you a service by not coming in there. You're not having to clean a table and clean up after me. You're not having to clean a dish or a fork. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing them a service. It should be cheaper to go through the drive-thru than it is to go inside. Instead, but they wanted a damn tip. I was like, no, don't think so. Again, I'm not opposed to tipping. Okay, I'm not. If you provide a service to me, I will tip you. But I'm not going to do it at a damn drive-thru. We did that too, me and a girlfriend. Last time we went to the movies, we went up to, what's it called? I think it used to be called, it's Blaze. It used to be called Bricks, now it's Blaze. It's a little pizza place up there in Knoxville. And you go through this line and they basically, it's like fast food pizza, essentially. You pick out your pizza, they put the toppings on it, they stick it in this wood-fired oven. 5 minutes later, you got a pizza. It's like fast food pizza. But again, you get up there to pay and there's a spot for a tip. And I'm like, why should I tip you? What have you done for me? Yes, there are people preparing the food here. But what's the difference in that than any other fast food restaurant? They're not bringing it to your table. Like they holler your name out, you go up there, you walk your own ass up there and get your pizza. They hand you a cup, you go get your own drink out of the fountain machine dispenser. Like they're not providing a service at all. Why should they be tipped? More than just the standard cost of the food. Like I don't get it. The tipping, everybody wants tips now. And you see these stories all the time of these drivers, like Uber drivers, Uber Eats. What's that other one? DoorDash? Is that right? DoorDasher. You know what I'm trying to say. I don't use them, but these, I have used them one time. We were in Florida. Here's your fish. We were in Florida though, down there at Pompano Beach, and we used them Uber. We had a coupon or something, and we used it, and we didn't want to get. Boy, look at this thing. Here's another slab of a bluegill, buddy. Holy cow! Look at this thing, man. Let's stick this one on the board. This is another dang good one that's going to flop around and act a fool. They all want to act a fool. Oh, buddy. Look here. That one's over 8.5 inches. I knew when I pulled him up, I'm like, that's a good one. He's not as thick as that one there earlier. But, oh, man, he's gone. That was another good, man. I'm telling you, the bluegill bite sporadic today. We're not finding like a tree that's got 50 fish on it. But boy, when we get one, it's been some good ones. But anyway, we used that. It was one of them, DoorDash or Uber Eats or something. We had a coupon. And we used it down there in Pompano Beach, and it was okay. The food took forever to get to us, but it was fine. But normally, I wouldn't use a service like that because first off, it's overpriced. But you're seeing all these stories, whether it's just internet, as you're scrolling through internet stories or Instagram videos, whatnot, but these people are spitting in people's foods, or they're eating all the food out of it and doing stuff to it because they're upset that you didn't tip them enough. And I'm like, because I don't even know what's the screening process? What's the background for these people to get these jobs? Like we used Uber a lot out there when we went to Las Vegas a few months ago on vacation. And I'm gonna tell you, the people that was driving, like we damn near died 2 or 3 times out there. I can't even remember how many times we almost died because it was so traumatic, I've blocked it from memory. But like the drivers Uber drivers in Las Vegas, like you get in one and it's way more convenient than a taxi or a bus, but you're risking your life, buddy. And do I really want those same people delivering my food? Do I trust them handling my food? I don't think so. So I'm not going to do it. But if you don't tip them enough, they're going to do something to your food. And the tipping has just gotten out of control. So anyway, the haircut lady, she charged me for a neck trim. Normal haircut for me is $18 out there, which is, we can have a discussion about that, especially my haircut, which is very simple, as some bug is flying around us. Did y'all hear that on the microphone? But normally $18, this time it was $7. I gave her a $5 tip. I don't know what the normal tip, normally when my haircut's $18, I give $2, make it $20. It used to be $17, and I would give $3 and make it $20. But the price keeps going up. So I don't know if that's standard or not. Like, I don't know what the typical tip amount is supposed to be. I would assume some people probably don't tip at all. I don't know. Maybe I'm being cheap. My haircut's very simple. Like they take a 1.5 blade or a clipper thing and they just buzz me down all over. Like I would do it myself, except for the fact that I can't see my back of my head to trim my neck. Maybe that's where the neck trim thing comes in at. Maybe other people buzz their own head down and then they go in there and pay $7 to have somebody trim their neck. But anyway, I guess I've lost so much damn hair. This woman felt bad for me, charged me $7. So I gave her $5. But normally it's $2. You think we can get back in here? This tree has fallen over the creek right here. It doesn't go very much further back in here. Do you think we can get through right here? You want to try it? Let's try it. We're going to have to put the rods down behind us. We're going on a little adventure, y'all. Come with me. We're adventuring today. We're going to have to put some rods down here because this is going to be a tight fit. Anything sticking up is definitely going to get caught on something. Let's just let's see if we can get through. Do you think we can? I think we can. It looks like there's a little opening here. I've been in worse situations. Yeah, we can make it. Do the limbo here, y'all. As long as the water don't come up on us while we're back here, we'll make it out. Okay. Well, we're back here. Can we catch any fish back here? One thing about it, though, not that any bass boats would be back here today, but they ain't getting through that, are they? We've got our own little fishing hole back here. Get back here in the back of this thing, I thought we might see some beds, if there happens to still be any on it. Yeah, when it comes to the whole tipping thing, like I'm kind of over being asked about it, honestly. Especially at fast food places. Like, if I'm picking up a to-go order. Now, here's one place where I do, okay, so like if I go down to Donna's Diner, that's the only place in Lenore City worth eating at. I don't eat there, unless the girlfriend's with me. I just pick up an order to go. Now, my order's usually like $8 down there. They're very cheap. Great food, very cheap. It's the only place in Lenore City worth eating at. But again, all they're doing is putting my food in a box and in a bag, and I'm out the door. They're not having to clean my table or give me drinks or anything like that. But I'll just give them a $10 bill, tell them keep change. Because you do have to. That's the one place I spend cash because they don't take credit cards. But that's a place I don't mind a to-go order getting a tip because they're always real nice and the service is good and the food's great. But a normal fast food place where the service is awful, the food's terrible, you're going to wait too damn long, I'm like, why in the hell am I going to be giving them a tip? Like I'm about to tip this jig right here to this tree since he wants it so damn bad. Been back here 2 minutes and we're already snagged. It's been a day of snags. I hope y'all like seeing snags get caught because, well, that's what we've done today. This water's real shallow back here. Here in a second, I'm gonna stand up and just take a look, see if we see anything. I see beds. You probably can't see. There's some beds right there. You can see the circular depressions right there, but there's nothing on them. Yeah, I don't see anything. You probably can't see. I got the polarized glasses on. I can see down in there a little bit. I don't see anything back here, actually. Yeah, I thought it's time for the spawn to be over with and everything, but I just thought we might get lucky. Okay, well, no reason to stick around back here if there's nothing going on. Let's get turned around. We'll work our way back up the other side of this creek here, see if we can pick off some more fish. The other side over there is shaded, so we'll see how that plays into effect. Get us turned around. Bear with me a second, folks. Tight quarters we're turning in. I could grab my paddle and make this a lot quicker and easier, but I'm not one to make things quicker or easier. I want to make it as difficult as damn possible. Not too bad when you in a situation like this, but if the wind was blowing and you're trying to back up and turn around like this, and the kayak's wanting to turn into the wind and stuff, it can be a bit of an ordeal. All right, let's grab our other rods here. We're going back through this opening in the tree. Okay. Well, at least it wasn't very difficult to get back here. If we had to cut some, well, first off, I wouldn't have cut branches. I wasn't that committed to it, but if we had done all that, went to great effort to get back here and there was nothing back here, that would have been a real disappointment. Play limbo again, y'all. Boy, if a snake falls out on us, I'm gonna be swimming. Okay, we made it. Put those back here behind us. We'll just work our way up the shaded side of this now. No, we'll see. We'll see which outperforms. The other side we come down was sunny. This side shaded. We'll see which outperforms the other. This area through here is so narrow, these fish could go back and forth either way. Don't know, obviously without the graph, no way of knowing the water temperature. But just stepping in at the water this morning at the launch site there with my bare feet and then obviously handling fish out here, I can tell you this water's hot. So being in the shade these fish may want to go to the shade. Something hit me. Better be a fish come on soon. Hell, I can't believe this has happened, but I'm actually out of crap to talk about. I'll probably, after today, dealing with the windshield repair guy, I'm liable to have some more stories. I ain't done much. I ain't done much lately. Fish. Had the tournament recently. I told that story multiple times, how I fell down that damn ramp. Then I found the bird. I went on my bait run and had that bird in the back of this kayak. I don't know how that bird got in there. I don't know if it was just died of natural causes, maybe one of the neighborhood cats killed the bird and had brought it up in my kayak or something. Maybe I hit a bird driving and it flew back and landed in the kayak. I don't know, but either way, I had a damn dead bird back there, and I'd kept smelling something. Couldn't figure it out. When I was strapping the kayak down that day, I saw the tail feathers. And I lifted my cooler up and was like, oh crap. That thing's got maggots all over it. It was nasty. Somebody could have sacrificed that live bird too. Putting a hex on me. That's the story I'm gonna stick with. Pedro Serrano, the movie Major League from the 1980s. He wanted to sacrifice a live chicken before the game for them playing for the pennant. And they ended up appeasing him. They got a sacrificed chicken. They brought him a bucket of KFC. That's something else I haven't had in a long time, KFC. I got pretty into, a few years ago, I got pretty into their famous bowl thing, which is like a bowl of mashed potatoes with some little pieces of chicken and corn and gravy in there and cheese. And it was pretty good. Very unhealthy, but pretty good. And it used to be $5. You could get a $5 meal deal or a combo or whatever they call it, but you get that famous bowl, you get a Pepsi, and they give you a cookie. $5. And then it went to 6 something, and then it went to 7 something. And then you go, and half the time they'd forget to put the cookie in there. And what finally done it for me, while I quit doing it, they changed the chicken recipe. I mean, it's still the same flavor of the secret recipe or whatever, but the texture of the chicken's different. And so I hadn't been back. That's been a long time. I ain't been forever. I try to eat fast food as little as possible. If I'm gonna get something unhealthy, I try to go to Donna's. But Donna's just ain't ever open. Like, they're open down there. They're closed on Sunday and Monday. And then, well, you might as well figure they're closed on Saturday too, because I think they're only open for breakfast. They used to be open for lunch on Saturday, but half the time I'd go in there, I'd get turned away because they were closing. Oh, crap, I'm hung again. But the other, Tuesday through Friday, they do breakfast and lunch. So if I'm gonna eat something unhealthy, I usually go there because it's way better and cheaper. So I try not to eat fast food, but the fast food, when you do get it these days, it's way overpriced for what you get. The portion sizes are getting smaller. And just the service, the quality, everything's getting worse. Like, I don't know that we ever changed that either. You know, with prices going up the way everything has, I don't know that you ever get back to a time with fast food. Like, could it be that, I mean, I guess fast food's not going anywhere. Businesses always, I mean, they've always got people in the drive. Of course, the drive-thrus are always backed around the buildings because they don't have any staff in these places. Somehow we lost our Gulp there when I slid the plug knocker down. But they're always backed up because of the lack of staff. But I've wondered about when you get somebody like me who is self-admittedly lazy, when people like me stop going to fast food restaurants, is that kind of a canary in the coal mine? Golly bum, I just dropped that Gulp down my pedal drive slot. We lost that one quick, didn't we? But is it like a canary in the coal mine situation where, like, when people like me stop going to get fast food, is that a sign that there are bigger problems in the industry? Well, I mean, like, and I get it. These companies have to turn a profit and whatnot, and expenses have gone up on everything for everybody. But when you go to a fast food place and, you know, I'm a growing young boy, like, I need some food. When I get a $10 value meal that used to be $5 just a few years ago, and I'm still hungry when I'm done eating, like, you know, that's a problem. Like, it shouldn't cost $15, $20 to eat and get full at a fast food restaurant. And I've talked about this recently, but I've gotten to a point, I eat steak every day. Like, I'm a prime candidate for colon cancer with all the red meat I eat. Although I'm not sure that those studies are 100% on the up and up, you know what I mean? Like, I've got serious doubts on those studies that have suggested that eating a lot of red meat leads to a higher incidence of colon cancer. I'd like to do some fact checking on that. But regardless, I eat a steak about every day. But like, when I go to Aldi here in a little while and we're done fishing and I load up on steaks, well, most of the steaks I'm going to buy, I get those eye of round steaks. They're $6, $7, $7.50 range usually. I can fix me a steak and some vegetables, put the fancy blue cheese on there. I get them blue cheese crumbles too. That's a new thing I've been into this year. Like, I can fix me a damn nice steak for less than what I can get some greasy buns and the lowest quality meat possible on a hamburger that's yay as thin as the Gulp Minnows we're using today. Like, it's you see the difference, and I mean, the only difference is I'm cooking it myself. Like, here's a fish. Oh, he spit it. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just not fast food used to be, and I don't know that it was supposed to be this way, but to me it was a value type thing. Boy, I've got this line wrapped every which way. There we go. But it used to be a value type thing. You would go to a fast food restaurant to save on time and save on money. Now you don't save on either, because you're going to wait in the drive-through line forever because they don't have any staff, and then you're going to get up there and it's going to cost you $15 to fill yourself up. So you're not saving time or money anymore. So what's the purpose in going to fast food? And for me, there is no purpose. I just don't go. I mean, just rarely. If I'm on a road trip or something, I have to. Or if it's just late and I don't want to grill and I don't want to cook dishes or something, I'll swing through a drive-through. But otherwise, I don't go anymore. Whereas used to, there was a time where, like, man, I eat fast food several times a week. Just don't go anymore. And if I'm not going, I wonder how many other people are not going. So I don't know what that's going to do long term. Is it possible that the fast food industry is dying? This is the early stages of it. Am I just the anomaly? I don't know. But either way, they've lost my business. I just lost another fish. He'd hit it. I know it seems probably crazy to think that these and not all, obviously not all, even if the fast food industry was dying, not all of these companies are going to go out of business. The strong will survive. The cream always rises to the top. Some of them might go under. But your larger chains, they'll find a way. But while it's crazy to think about, it's been this way since the beginning of time. Businesses that are strong that you think will just never go under, times change, industries change, competition changes, and then all of a sudden they're just not viable anymore. We've seen it with a lot of companies in my lifetime. I mean, my first job was at Kmart. They're gone. At the time, you would have, I mean, when I was 16, who would have ever thought Kmart would be out of business? But they are. All these technology companies pop up and they replace old technology. Next thing you know, the old technology, like if they don't adapt, they're done. And I think as technology gets better, obviously that's gonna change a lot too. You know, things are gonna start happening a lot quicker. Companies are gonna pop up quicker. They're gonna die off quicker. But the fast food industry's been around for ages. And I just don't know that it's sustainable long term with what they're going on. Because I don't think food prices are coming down. And, you know, save your politic comments for somebody else's comment box. It don't matter which talking head is in the Oval Office. Prices are going to keep going up. That's the way it's been. Every talking head that's been in office my whole life, things go up every single time. Things may come down, you know, gas prices may go down with one versus the other as they play their politicking and stuff. But overall, prices continue to rise on everything. And I'm just, you know, I'm at a point, I'm just not going to pay that much for fast food. So they're either going to have to improve, they're either going to have to figure out a way to lower prices again, or they're going to have to improve the quality to make it worthwhile for me to go there. Because if I can cook a steak, if I can fix steak and vegetables, blue cheese crumbles on it and all that at my house for under $10, so why the hell am I going to spend $15 at a fast food place? This plug knocker has really come in handy today. Like, we've saved a lot of jigs today. I'm tired of having to use it. Like, I'm really tired of using that damn plug knocker, but boy, it's worked out. I saw a thing the other day too, one of them videos that pop up, and it was talking about living in the Philippines. Best I can figure, these technology companies, they're always listening to us when we talk. They listen through our phones and computers and stuff. So they know what we're talking about. And I was talking about getting them pedicures at the Asian spa, which my toes, it's probably time for another one here soon. My toes look a little rough. But anyway, I know. Go ahead and pull the man card. I get it. But the girlfriend loves taking me to this place now, and I've about adapted to them using the ice pick between my toes and the cheese grater and whatnot. So anyway, I guess because I have talked about the Asia spa experience, when I log on to YouTube or social media, these spa advertisements are popping up, and videos related to what I'm talking about are popping up more frequently. So anyway, I saw one, it was about the Philippines or something, and they were talking about how much cheaper it is to live in the Philippines versus the United States. And one of the person on there, and I forget what this thing was called, but it's pretty damn disgusting. So apparently in the Philippines, they're really big on fried chicken. Like, a lot of the fast food places are fried chicken places. But a lot of the people in the Philippines are very poor. Like, there's the haves and the have-nots. Like, it's really, you got the nice areas and the slums. I've never been to the Philippines, but just from hearing them describe it, it sounds like you've got very nice areas and very poor slum areas. And so what these people will do, they will go to these fast food places and get in their trash cans and get these chicken bones that still have meat on them and pull them out and save them. And then they will go and recook them. They'll strip the meat off and go refry it basically. And they call it something, I forget what it was called, pack or yak pack or something like that. Oh crap, we're in a damn tree over there. I must have cast over the damn tree. Well, the plug knocker ain't gonna work up there, is it? Well, y'all made a lousy cast. Now I'm sitting there talking about Filipino regurgitated food and y'all casting over trees. We ain't been on our game today. But anyway, it's a thing they do in the slums down there. And it's affordable food for the people in the slums, but yeah, they go through and get the scraps, get the garbage out and refry the fried chicken. And I'm just, you know, as me, I'm thinking about all the potential. Just, it seems to me like it's diarrhea waiting to happen. Because that food, it's been sitting in a garbage can, like it's been, and I've never been to the Philippines, but I imagine it's hot there. Anytime you see a video of somebody in the Philippines, they're always sweating, it seems like. So I imagine it's hot. That food, probably covered in bacteria from not only being in the trash can, but just baking out there in the heat. And now you're letting it sit there for who knows how long, and then mixing it with other food that is, I mean, they've bit into these chicken wings and chicken legs and stuff. Like, so not only are you getting just the bacterias from the trash cans, but you've got the, oh my God, we threw over that damn branch. There it comes. Boy, it ain't I'm having a hard time here, y'all. But you're gonna have the bacteria from people's dirty mouths too on all that. Now I guess if you deep fry it long enough, you kill a lot of that stuff, but it just seems to me like that's diarrhea waiting to happen. Like that's, like you eat that stuff, you're done for the day, man. But that's a thing they do down there in the Philippines. They reuse the scraps from the fast food restaurants. That's like a business there in the slums. People have restaurants where they have gotten all of their food materials from the garbage at the fast food places. But apparently it's very cheap to live in the Philippines. Apparently it's a thing where Americans go over there and money that you would make here that you couldn't retire on here, you can go over there and live like a king. I don't even know where the Philippines is at, to be honest with you. I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, my uncle, he's dead now. My uncle was real religious, and he was a preacher, and he had done some missionary stuff. And he had went to the Philippines when I was a kid, and he had come home, and I remember I was forced to go to my grandmother's house, and he had one of them old school slide projectors. And we had to sit there and listen about his trip. And of course, I mean, it would be interesting now as an adult, but when I have no idea. I don't even remember how old I was. I was young. I barely remember it. 4 or 5 years old. Like, I obviously wasn't interested in seeing any slides on a projector, hearing about his missionary trip down there. But he got something down there. Messed him up. I don't know if they ever figured out what he had, but he got some kind of medical condition they never could figure out while he was down there. He ended up living a long time after that, but like he had to, pretty sure he had to like self-cath himself for a while because they couldn't figure out what had done it. But I have no idea where the Philippines is even at. I guess it's over in Asia somewhere. My only real experience with Filipino people is when I was still working as a nurse, some of the hospitals I worked at as a travel nurse would not only use contracted nurses like travelers like I was. Are you kidding me? Don't come in here. Please don't come in here. You got the whole damn lake, buddy. Go on. You've got the whole lake. Okay, I think maybe they're turning. I mean, we've seen 3 boats today. There's no reason for anybody to be within a half a mile of anybody else. They're just going to cut us off right there and start right there at the top, apparently. It seems about right. Maybe they'll keep going that way and not turn in here. But my only experience with the Filipino people was a lot of the hospitals. I'll say a lot, I think there were 2 or 3 maybe, that would use contracted Filipino nurses. So these nurses would be, and I talked to some of them about how it worked. So what they would do in the Philippines, they would sign a contract with the company over there. The company would then pay for their education and put them through school in the Philippines, which is apparently, again, a very overall poor country for the people that actually live there. And in exchange for them signing this contract and the company putting them through school, they owed that company so many years. And the company would then send them to America to work for piss poor wages, like piss poor, you know, because I knew what the hospitals were paying for me and what I was making there. Like those Filipino nurses, they were getting fleeced, they were getting robbed, but it was what they had to do to get out. And so I interacted with a few of them, which typically, I mean, honestly, my experience overall with them wasn't very good. There's normally not so much a language barrier, because I mean, they had to speak English to be over here and be working and stuff, but there was oftentimes an accent. And I struggle with accents, like not all accents, but like any kind of Asian accent. Like if they're speaking English with an Asian accent, like for whatever reason, my brain, my ears, like I struggle. Like I really have a hard time understanding what the hell it is they're saying. And so I'd be there in the ER and I'd be calling, I'd have a patient getting admitted or something. I'd call upstairs to give report. And I'd get one of these Filipino nurses, and they'd be asking me questions, and it would be such a long process to get through the report, because it's not that I couldn't answer their question, I couldn't figure out what the hell they were asking me I'm like, this is awful. Like I need a translator for the person speaking English on the other side of the phone. But yeah, stuff like that. I mean, it's like, how is that? You wonder this day and time, like how that's legal for those companies to exist, but they're foreign companies operating in America, and the hospitals that are hiring these nurses out, like they don't know here's a fish. They don't know what the hospital or what the nurses are making. That's between them and the agencies that they're working for. The hospital, oh, here we go, buddy. Yes, we got one. We lost that other one. We got this one. Check this out, y'all. It's one of them red-breasted sunfishes. Red-breasted sunfishies. Pretty sure that's what these are called. But they got all these cool colors. The light blue. This one here, get him in the light. He's not as bright a color as what some of them are. They have that orange there on their tail. They're a cool fish. I could have probably kept him in my bait bucket for a few days, and he would have been an interesting thumbnail for a video. I brought that bait bucket, but we ain't caught no yellow bass or no white bass or crappie or anything. But you know, as a travel nurse, for instance, now when I was traveling, you would work through an agency. You'd have a travel nurse agency, and so you would have a contract with that agency where it would have all the terms on there. This is your start date. This is your contracted number of hours per week. This is your base pay. This is your overtime rate. This is your travel or your meals and incidentals and your lodging stipend and all that. Like all that would be laid out there in the contract. The hospitals don't know what I'm making. Like they're paying, it's called the bill rate. They're paying X number of dollars to that agency for a nurse. The agency then takes that money, the bill rate that the hospital gives them. Let's say the hospital's giving them $100 an hour to fill that position. They're then going to go out and try to find travel nurses to work for as little as possible. And so let's say the total pay package for the nurse ends up being 60, so they can find a nurse that'll end up working for roughly $60 an hour. Time you do all your hourly rate and your meals and incidentals and lodging and all that, works out to be $60 an hour. Well, then they just made $40 an hour off you for every hour you work, basically. And, you know, and that may be a little extreme. I'm sure their margins aren't that much, but it basically just goes to show you the hospital has no idea. When I would walk in there as a travel nurse, the hospital administration had no idea how much I was making. They knew how much they were paying the agency. Then the agency works the deal with me, and that was always the worst part of travel nursing, is dealing with the scumbag travel nurse recruiters that, I mean, you know, their goals, every one of them's goals is to get you to work for as little as possible. Every time I ever met somebody, another travel nurse, who told me that they were just best friends with their recruiter. Their recruiter, they talked on the phone all the time. They just had the best recruiter ever. Every single time I was making more money than them, because them scumbag recruiters, they try to befriend you. That's what they want to do. It's no different than any other salesman. It's like a damn car salesman trying to make small talk at the dealership, trying to get you to like them, to befriend them. That way they can take advantage of you. Because when that travel nurse recruiter, when they've befriended you, you don't want to let your friend down. So of course you're going to be willing to work for less, or go to a place you don't necessarily want to go to, or take a shift you don't necessarily want to take. They're going to be able to talk you into stuff because they've befriended you. Crap. Well, we just lost that one. Y'all do the math on that. You do the math and tell me how many jigs we saved today, and figure out, is it worthwhile for the plug knocker with the cost? I don't remember how much them plug knockers were. They come in a 3-pack. Been so long since I got them, I don't remember how much they cost, but we saved several jigs today with it, but now we've lost it, so was it worthwhile? It did save us a lot of time. But the travel nurse recruiters are scum. They're scum of the earth. I hate them. And every time I ever met a nurse that just spoke so highly of their recruiter, they were never making as much money as me. Hospital's paying the same for both of us. but that other nurse wouldn't be making as much because that recruiter had taken advantage of them. I told all of my recruiters straight up, I'm like, look, here's how it is. I'm going to walk in there to that hospital. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to show up when I'm scheduled, and I'm going to finish out my contract. Even if the place is a dump and things aren't working out in there, I'm going to show up and finish my contract. A lot of nurses don't. They go in there, place sucks, they quit. Like, I'm going to show up. I'm going to be a good representative of your company. Once our initial contract negotiations here is over, we got the contract signed, you're not going to hear from me again until it's time to look for the next job. Like, I'm not going to pester you and call you every day like some of these nurses do. That's what you're getting from me. But here's what I expect from you. Don't bullshit me on the pay rates. I'm doing this for money. I want the maximum amount of money I can get. I want the lowest hourly taxable rate possible. I want the most money in stipends as possible. And I expect to be the highest paid nurse when I walk in there. And I let them know up front. I'm like, look, when I meet the other travel nurses there at this hospital, I'm asking every single one of them how much they're making. What's their take home? And if the day comes that I meet one of those nurses, whether it's with this company or another agency that's got them in there, if they're making more than me and you are done. Because travel nurses, the travel nurse agencies and travel nurse recruiters, they're a dime a dozen. There's a million companies out there. I don't need any one particular travel nurse agency or recruiter. So at the time, back then, obviously this YouTube thing took off and I've left that world behind. But at the time, when I started travel nursing, I was like, look, I've got 30 years left in the workforce. So you can make a lot of money off me. We can make a lot of money together. But if you lie to me one time, if one time I go in there and somebody else is making more money than me when the hospital's paying the exact same for both of us, then me and you are done. So I've told you what you're going to get from me. In exchange for that, I expect you not bullshit me, give me the best rate possible, and I don't want to have to fight you for it. And that worked out, But when you set it, it didn't work out like that right away. Like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. The first couple contracts I had, I got fleeced. I was fortunate in my situation. The very first place I ever worked, it was a small hospital, Asheboro, North Carolina. That was my very first travel nursing contract. It was 2011. I walk in on day one, there's another travel nurse starting when I was there. And we had to do some stuff in HR to begin with, get our badges and all that. And I'm sitting there, because this is my first contract. I'm completely green on this. I'm just peppering her with questions. And she says, do you have your contract with you? And I said, I do. And she said, pull it out. And I pull out my contract. She pulls out her contract. We're with the same agency. She was making $200 more a week than I was. And I was like, well, that's because I'm new. It was a first-time traveler, like, they're paying less for me. And she's like, honey, hospital don't know that you're a first-time traveler. They're paying the same for all of us. And that's when she explained to me the bill rate versus. And so the agency, the travel nurse recruiter that I had lied to me. And I've seen that a lot since then. They all I'm on to their games, now. Like, you can't swindle me now. There's nothing you can say or do that I'm not going to see right through the bullshit. But I saw a lot of travel nurses I work with get taken advantage of in that. And then I see, circling back to the Philippine thing, those Philippine nurse agencies clearly doing the same thing, but they're doing it in the Philippines. Getting those women to sign those excessively long, because some of the contracts was several years long. Like, they would have to agree to work in the United States for several years to pay back their education expense there. And so they're basically working for crap pay for several years after they get out of school. And this makes you wonder how that's legal, I guess, because it's probably those companies are probably based in the Philippines, would be my guess. But I'm sure the hospitals are, but more and more hospitals were going to them because they were cheaper labor. I guess those agencies were undercutting the prices of American agencies. But yeah, scumbag world, folks. Scumbag world in the travel nurse area. Dealing with the travel nurse jobs, no problem. Well, I mean, you got problems sometimes, but like dealing with the travel nurse agencies and the recruiters, far worse experience than anything else about the job. It was always the worst part of it. I think what I'm gonna do here, y'all, this creek's been a dud. I mean, we've caught a few fish, but it's been a dud. And the wind's blowing out there in the main channel still. I think we're gonna wrap this up here in a little bit. Let me see what time it is anyway. Yeah, I got time left still. I think what I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna make a few more casts here. I wouldn't mind ending on a fish today. Make a few more casts, catch another fish. I'm gonna troll my way back to the car, which I'll probably cut the camera off for that because I don't suspect we're gonna get anything. I didn't catch nothing coming up through there this morning to where I started ultralight fishing at, so I don't expect we're gonna get anything now that the sun's out. And of course, we didn't really see any skipjack or white bass or anything busting. But nevertheless, I'll troll them. I mean, I got the rods with me. Might as well troll them back. I think we'll wrap this up soon, go to Aldi, get me some groceries, go home, fix some lunch, and then wait on Safe Light repair, Safe Light replace for a while as I'm hung again. Y'all, why am I hung so damn much today? It's been one of them days. I tell people all the time you need to try ultralight fishing, but I ain't being very convincing today when you've seen me hung 67,000 times. Let's use one of our other plug knockers. Let's see if we can lose 2 plug knockers today. We'd really drive down the value then, wouldn't we? There it comes. Yeah, not been I don't know how many fish we've gotten. I mean, we've caught some fish today, bluegill, but I like catching bluegill. But it's definitely been a kind of a sporadic bite today. It's not been a lights out kind of just nonstop action kind of day. Some days they are, some days they're not. And today's kind of been just a fish here, a fish there type thing. I don't even think we had any 2 fish streaks today. As crazy as that is. I mean, usually you get on a tree that's got a few fish, you at least get either 2 or 3 fish in a row minimum, or you can sit there and make 10 casts on a tree and catch 5 or 6 fish at some point. But like, we didn't even have a situation like that today. I want to get me one more fish if I can. One more fish or one more snag. I'm going to run over here to this other side. Seems like when we come down this creek, we got some going down the sunny side of the bank, but over here in the shade, we ain't done hardly anything. I guess we should have went to the other creek maybe. If that other boat hadn't have went toward that creek there before we made the move, I would have done it. But when I saw him going in there, I'm like, well, we'll just go up here and try this one. In hindsight now, it's probably not the best idea. Yeah, I'm gonna get my groceries. Probably eat me a bite, play with the dog, wait on Safe Light. Hopefully, you know, appointment time 1 to 4 or 1 to 5. It'd be nice if they'd show up at 1 o'clock. It'd be nice if they'd show up 12:45. Now, I can't be getting on somebody for being late or anything because I'm late all the time. But just once, it'd be nice if they're scheduled to be there in a 4-hour window, they actually show up ahead of time. Do that, hang out with the girlfriend tonight. Probably won't do anything. I'd say she's probably tired from the drive. They split the drive up over 2 days going up there, but they drove the full way back last night. So I'd say she's tired. Now that she's back home, though, we'll be up there at the bowling alley throwing the rock again soon. Gotta get brushed up on my bowling skills. It's been a minute since we went bowling. I like throwing the rock. I ain't no PBA professional. Is that what they call the professional bowling? Oh, I had one sneak up and snatch it there as I was reeling it in. I don't know what they call professional bowlers. PBA, I think, is bull riding. Or that's PBR. Or is that hell if I know. It's PB something. Professional bowling something. I ain't never gonna make their professional bowling tour, that's for sure. You won't see me on ESPN 47 at 3 o'clock in the morning in some professional bowling tournament. How do they sell advertisements? How do they sell commercial space on ESPN 6 at 4 o'clock in the morning? That must be the cheapest advertisements of all time. Like, they'd have to be giving those things away. You could put your Billy Mays ShamWow infomercial on there, and if you sold one ShamWow, it would be profitable, because they can't be that space 3 o'clock in the morning on a channel that nobody watches any hour of the day. Commercial space has to be just super cheap on there. We can't catch another fish if our life depended on it right now, y'all. This is tough. I don't know if it's just that time in the morning or just this little creek or pocket, wherever the hell it is. Just ain't no good. I mean, we did catch some coming down through here. Let's throw out there a little deeper. We may not end the video on a fish today. I see a little minnow jumping over there. Something's chasing in. There's some kind of life in here. Either way, even though the fishing wasn't spectacular today, we did catch some nice bluegill. Got some over 8 inches there. Got several between 7 and 8 inches. It's a fun time for me. I mean, bluegill that size, I've said it a bunch, but like bluegill that size on this setup, it's fun. I enjoy it. And to be able to come out with minimal tackle and the simplicity of it all, I enjoy it. You know, obviously I want to, we're hung again. God almighty. I think I'm getting out of here, folks. We'll just have another one of them days where I'm just hung every time I turn around. But I do enjoy it. I don't enjoy being hung, but I enjoy this type of fishing. It's a good time. And even a day like today where we've had our struggles with the snags, we for damn sure didn't get skunked. You know, we had a good time with the fish that we caught. So I appreciate you coming with me. Not appreciating this tree not giving my plug knocker back. Let's see if we can get over on top of it. We're going to end up losing 2 plug knockers today. I ain't buying, if I keep losing these things, I ain't going to buy no more. I know we've saved a lot of jigs today, but you need to save about 30, 40 jigs to be able to cover the cost of 1 plug knocker. What am I in down here? I think I'm in fishing line too. I see something down there. Y'all see that? We're not getting that thing back. We're losing 2 plug knockers today. It ain't even bouncing up and down on the line anymore. There it went. All right, folks, I guess that's a wrap. Yeah, that's a sign from the universe. The universe has said, hell with it, Justin. You're not getting any more jigs back, you're not catching any more fish, and you're not getting your plug knockers back anymore. So we went through we saved a lot of jigs today. I'll be curious, somebody will probably add that up. But I don't know that these plug knockers, I buy my jig, I've talked about this before, I buy my jigs in bulk, my jig heads. So when you look at the cost per jig head, you're looking at a few cents, what it works out to. These plug knockers, I can't remember how much they cost, but they come in a 3-pack. But you're gonna have to save a lot of jigs to cover the cost of one of them plug knockers. And now we've lost 2 today. So I don't think we wouldn't have lost a few dollars worth of jigs today. That's for damn sure. So I don't know that they're really gonna be worthwhile to use long term, like to keep repurchasing them. And you know, part of that's probably me too. If I would get right on top of these snags before I put the thing on and drop it down, it would probably be more effective, right? Part of that's on me. But that's also, when you're fishing out of a kayak and the wind's blowing, that always, and maybe you got overhanging trees and stuff to work around, that ain't always practical or, you know, realistic to be able to think you're gonna be able to get on top of it and drop it down. So, yeah, either way, I'm not gonna let it spoil my mood today, y'all, because we got us some big bluegill. Only species we got today, bluegill. At least the only one landed. We did hook that 1 bass. But either way, I've had a good time. I hope you enjoyed it, coming fishing with me. Me just sitting out here and telling stories, talking about life and stuff. I have fun with it. So I guess that's what's most important. Nobody's watching at this point in the video anyway, so as long as I'm having a good time, that's all that matters. But I'm gonna get out of here. We'll troll my way back to the car. I'm gonna turn the camera off because I thought there was reasonable chance we were gonna get bit with white bass, skipjack, whatever, I'd leave the camera going on the way back, but I don't think we're gonna get anything, so I'll just turn the camera off now, and if I get bit, great, but probably won't. But otherwise, I'm gonna head to the grocery store, hopefully get my windshield replaced today. Next trip will probably be, if I can get some catfish bait, we'll go catfishing. If not, probably do some carp fishing. Either way, I'll see you on the next one.